Chapter 1498. Chapter 1498. Chapter 1498. Strike with all your might. Barda, what do you think? Do you want to consider it? Jean Beau stared at Barda with interest and said, "It's completely worth it to exchange your life for the lives of 20 bloodthirsty berserk wolves." What a good plan. Barda's expression was extremely gloomy. As the leader of the bloodthirsty wild wolves, he was unable to ensure the safety of the bloodthirsty wild wolves. He felt extremely guilty. However, Barda was not a fool. He knew very well that even if he really used self-destruction to blast the small formation eye, he would definitely not be able to exchange for the safety of the other 20 bloodthirsty mad wolves. From the beginning, Barda had never pinned his hopes on Jean Beau. He placed all of his hopes on Ningyu. Whether or not Ningyu succeeded would determine whether or not the bloodthirsty mad wolf could survive. Now, it seemed that the situation was a bit beyond his imagination. "You don't want to consider it?" Jean Beau's face instantly darkened. Jean Beau did not want to waste his breath with Barda here. With a thought, he began to control the seal in Barda's body. Under Jean Beau's control, Barda let out a hysterical scream. Ningbo was in control, and so was Barda. At this moment, Barda had thoroughly displayed his strength as a pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign. If it were any other Earth Supremes, they would have long since collapsed. But Barda was still struggling to hold on. Sha! Seeing Barda's pained expression, Ningyu felt that he should do something. Ningyu rolled his eyes and quickly came up with a countermeasure. Giving Huang Jiqiang a meaningful look, Ningyu walked towards Jean Kitchen step by step. Soon, Ningyu came to Jean Kitchen's side. "Elder, should we send those 20 wolves back to the Jean clan first?" Ningyu looked around and said in a low voice, "Just now, many elders of the Jean family sent me a message, asking me to leave 1 or 2 bloodthirsty mad wolves for them." Nonsense. Hearing Ningyu's words, Jean Kitchen was so angry that his nose became crooked. These bloodthirsty berserk wolves were his exclusive property. Those elders who were enjoying their lives in the Jean family actually wanted to fight with him for the bloodthirsty mad wolf? What a fool's dream. Snorting coldly, Jean Kitchen said in a deep voice, "Unless old ancestor Jean Beau says something, you better stay here. Don't give those 20 bloodthirsty mad wolves to anyone." "All right." Ningyu nodded with a helpless look on his face. At this moment, Ningyu vividly displayed his identity. He hovered between the Jean family elders and Jean Kitchen, not daring to offend either of them. Ningyu's words successfully attracted Jean Kitchen's attention, making Jean Kitchen's thoughts focus on the 20 bloodthirsty mad wolves. "Explode!" At this moment, Jean Beau roared from afar. "Rumble!" As Jean Beau's roar rang out, a sky-shaking sound suddenly rang out. What happened? After the loud noise, Jean Beau was a little stunned, even a little confused. This was because Jean Beau realized that Barda in front of him hadn't self-destructed. Barda did not self-destruct. So who was the one who self-destructed? Not good. It's Huang Jiqiang. As the old ancestor of the Jean family, Jean Beau quickly reacted. Someone did self-destruct, but it wasn't Barda. It was the 7th grade Earth Sovereign, Huang Jiqiang. Although the power of a 7th grade Earth Sovereign's self-destruction wasn't big, Jean Kitchen and the 2 first grade Earth Sovereigns were together with Huang Jiqiang. At such a close distance, even if Jean Kitchen exerted all his strength to resist, it would be hard for him to resist. Puff! Puff! Without a doubt, under the impact of Huang Jiqiang's self-destruction, the 2 first grade Earth Sovereigns of the Jean family, Jean Ku and Jean Yang, both suffered serious injuries. As for Jean Kitchen, his situation was a little better. However, at such a close distance, Jean Kitchen was only slightly better than Jean Ku and Jean Yang. He also suffered serious injuries. His aura had dropped from the peak 9th grade Earth Sovereign to the initial 9th grade Earth Sovereign, and it was still dropping. This is infuriating. Jean Kitchen was in a state of rage. Being injured by one of his own, Jean Kitchen would lose all his face. Who the hell told me what the hell is going on? Jean Kitchen roared like a madman. Finally, his eyes stopped on Ningyu. Huang Zhijian, come here. Jean Kitchen roared, extremely angry. Elder, this matter has nothing to do with me. I don't know what the hell is going on. Ningyu looked very frightened. Even his whole body was trembling. Open your mind, let me check. Jean Kitchen's mind moved, and in an instant his perception surged into Ningyu's mind and began to check. On the surface, Ningyu's body was trembling, but in fact he was very excited. The plan was going well. Huang Zhijiang's self-destruction had seriously injured Jean Kitchen. At this time, as long as he suddenly attacked, he could definitely kill Jean Kitchen. However, Ningyu didn't plan to attack now. He was waiting for an opportunity. If he attacked now, there was a 50% chance of killing Jean Kitchen. But he had no way to escape. What Ningyu wanted to do was to kill Jean Kitchen and escape unscathed. The key to the success of this matter was on Jean Bo. Swish! When Jean Kitchen was checking Ningyu, Jean Bo was also using his perception to check Ningyu. Fortunately, Ningyu's performance was very logical, which added a lot of points for him. Otherwise, Jean Bo and Jean Kitchen would definitely take him down. Is there really no problem? After checking Ningyu for 3 minutes, Jean Bo and Jean Kitchen retracted their perception. In the hearts of Jean Bo and Jean Kitchen, such a sentence arose at the same time. They didn't find anything in Ningyu's body. In other words, Ningyu couldn't self-destruct, so there was no problem. Come here, I'll check again. Jean Kitchen didn't believe it. He waved his hand at Ningyu and said, No one can make trouble under my eyes. If I find out, I'll kill without mercy. Ningyu walked towards Jean Kitchen while secretly paying attention to Jean Bo's movements. As long as Jean Bo relaxed a little, he would kill Jean Kitchen with all his strength. For the people of the Jean family, if he could kill one, it was one. Ning, you would never be soft-hearted. Elder Yang, inject all your power into my body. I want to kill Jean Kitchen in one move. To ensure that nothing went wrong, Ningyu also secretly contacted Yang Chong. After a period of recovery, Yang Chong had returned to his peak state. Yang Chong was an 8th grade Earth Supreme. With his help, Ningyu didn't believe that Jean Kitchen could survive. 3 more steps, 2 more steps. While moving forward, Ningyu secretly counted his steps. Next step, attack. When he was 1 step away from Jean Kitchen, Ningyu clenched his right fist and fiercely punched at Jean Kitchen's head. Buzz! With Yang Chong's help, the power of Ningyu's punch was extremely powerful. Chapter 1499. Killing Jean Kitchen. Not good. Jean Kitchen was truly a pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign. Even if he was heavily injured, his perception was still powerful. When Ningyu's fist arrived before him, he immediately reacted and dodged to the side. However, it was already too late for him to dodge. Ningyu's fist brought along a violent gale as it slammed against Jean Kitchen's head. Boom! Jean Kitchen's head exploded with brain juice splattering out. Let's go! Ningyu did not hesitate after his attack succeeded. He immediately tore open the void and flew towards Master Xingyan and Fairy Yinshi. The sudden change had caused Jean Bo and the rest to widen their eyes as they stood on the spot with dumbfounded expressions. He couldn't believe that Jean Kitchen was actually killed. One must know that Jean Kitchen was a pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign, the main force of the Jean family. The Jean family had suffered great losses in the Void Realm and Nebula Academy. Now that another pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign had died, the Jean family's strength had dropped by 1/5. Go, capture Huang Zhijian. After a brief daze, Jean Bo roared as he charged towards Ningyu. Jean Bo was enraged to the extreme. Jin Bo had immediately unleashed the aura of a heavenly sovereign to suppress Ningyu. As Ningyu moved forth, he did not forget to turn around and look at Jin Bo with a cold smile. Huang Zhijian, open your eyes and see who I am. I don't care who you are, you'll have to what? In the beginning, Jin Bo did not listen to Ningyu's words, since his words were filled with coldness. But when he saw Ningyu's appearance, he was instantly startled. Ningyu was someone that their Jin family was after. If it wasn't for Ningyu causing trouble in the Nebula Academy, the Senshin Pagoda would have long been theirs. Now that he saw Ningyu's true colors, Jin Bo was so angry that his nose became crooked. If he had known about Ningyu's identity, he would have captured Ningyu immediately and snatched the Tower of Yuzu from Ningyu. Grandmaster Xingyan, hurry up and open the small formation eye. I want to go there. While Jin Bo was in a daze, Ningyu hurriedly contacted Master Xingyan. He wanted to ask Master Xingyan to open the small formation core. Whether Ningyu could successfully enter Giant Shield City or not depended on whether Master Xingyan was willing to help. Open. Master Xingyan was not an indecisive person. He immediately opened a small formation eye and opened a door to Giant Shield City for Ningyu. Bada, come with me. Before entering Giant Shield City, Ningyu did not forget to help Barda. No matter what, Bada was a pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign. As long as the seal on Bada was removed, his strength would be terrifying. Thank you. Bada knew that Ningyu was helping him, so he only replied briefly before focusing on controlling the seal in his body. He did not want to be controlled by Jin Bo to self-destruct after entering Giant Shield City. Relax your mind. I can stabilize the seal in your body. If you help someone, you should help them to the end. Since Ningyu had decided to help Bada, he would not give up halfway. Since he had helped more than 20 bloodthirsty mad wolves break the seal in their bodies, Ningyu had a deeper understanding of the Jin family seal. Ningyu separated a wisp of soul force and entered Bada's body. It only took a few seconds for Ningyu to control the seal in Bada's body. At this time, no matter how hard Jinbo tried, he could not stop Bada from self-destructing. This is so infuriating. On one hand, he could not catch up to Ningyu, and on the other hand, he could not activate the seal in Bada's body. As the Jin family's old ancestor, Jinbo had never been so angry before. Jinbo, you have to rely on our Emperor Palace for this. Seeing that Ningyu was about to enter Giant Shield City with Bada, a figure suddenly appeared around them. Then the old ancestor of Emperor Palace suddenly appeared next to Ningyu and tried to grab Ningyu's head with his fist. The old ancestor of Emperor Palace had the cultivation of an early stage Heaven Supreme. He was extremely powerful. In Emperor Palace, this old ancestor's combat power was enough to rank in the top 5. Phew! Seeing that the old ancestor of Emperor Palace had made a move, Jinbo heaved a sigh of relief. The worry between his eyebrows eased a little. At such a close distance, the old ancestor of Emperor Palace had attacked with all his might. Could Ningyu resist it? The answer was obviously no. However, it did not matter if Ningyu could not resist it. Someone would block it for Ningyu. 100-flower fan. Yun, she fairy, held the 100-flower fan in her hand. In the blink of an eye, she tore the void and appeared outside Giant Shield City. You guys go first. I'll hold them off. Yun, she did not waste any time with Ningyu. She controlled the 100-flower fan and shot out a beam of light that enveloped Ningyu and Bada before throwing them towards the small array core. Sizzle! Sizzle! The speed of the beam of light was extremely fast. Almost in an instant, Ningyu and Bada had entered Giant Shield City. Rumble! Ningyu's group had entered Giant Shield City, but Yun she was obstructed by many experts. Jinbo, the old ancestor of Emperor Palace, Mengquan, Southern Dipper Venerable, Northern Dipper Venerable, and several other 9th grade Earth Sovereigns had all made their moves. They wanted to kill Yin Shi. Ha ha ha! You can wear out iron shoes in fruitless searching, only to find it by chance. Jinbo raised his head and laughed maniacally. An extremely vicious expression appeared on his face. Compared to Yunxi, Ningyu and Bada were not that attractive. Ningyu had the Tower of Ascension, but she had the 100-flower fan. The 100-flower fan was a supreme treasure amongst supreme treasures. It wasn't any weaker than the Tower of Ascension. It would be a wonderful thing if they could obtain the 100-flower fan. Jinbo, your main goal has always been the Yuzuin Pagoda. After you get the 100-flower fan, I promise to help you snatch the Yuzuin Pagoda. The Emperor Divine Palace's old ancestor started to set a trap for Jinbo because he wanted the 100-flower fan. The 100-flower fan isn't any weaker than the Tower of Ascension. What a good plan. Jinbo coldly snorted. He did not give a definite answer to the old ancestor of Emperor Palace. Stop fighting. The 100-flower fan is mine. No one can snatch it from me. Meng Quan had not made a move during this period of time. Now that Yunxi had come out with the 100-flower fan, Meng Quan felt that his chance had come. He made up his mind to obtain the 100-flower fan no matter what. Swish! Therefore, Meng Quan did not waste any time. He immediately made a move and charged towards Yunxi. 100 flower blossoms. Seeing Meng Quan approaching her, Yunxi's expression was extremely solemn. She waved the 100-flower fan in her hand repeatedly. Instantly, the void split apart. Thousands of flower petals appeared and attacked Meng Quan from all directions. Child's play. Meng Quan did not care about the flower petals that Yunxi had unleashed. Meng Quan waved his sleeves. In an instant, countless orbs of light shot out from his sleeves. These orbs were not too big. They were only the size of a fist. Chapter 1500. Plot. Sizzle. The sphere of light and the petal came into contact, emitting sizzling sounds at the same time. In the next moment, the petal and the sphere of light disappeared. So powerful. Seeing Meng Quan's powerful strength, Jinbo and the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace were astonished. They knew that Meng Quan was strong, but they didn't expect him to be this strong. With the cultivation of a half-step Sky Supreme, he wasn't at a disadvantage against Fairy Yunxi, who had the 100-flower fan. It was difficult for them to achieve such strength. Grandmaster Xingyan, I'll give you the Yuzuin Pagoda. Hurry up and open the small array core to let Fairy Yunxi in. In Giant Shield City, Ningyu didn't hide anything and directly handed the Yuzuin Pagoda to Grandmaster Xingyan. Fairy Yin, she was the strongest expert in Giant Shield City. If she was captured alive, it would greatly affect the morale of Giant Shield City. No rush. Taking the Yuzuin Pagoda, Grandmaster Xingyan said solemnly, Fairy Yin, she is playing a big game. Now that you've brought the Yuzuin Pagoda here, it's coming to an end. All right, you guys do what you need to do. I'll help Ba to break the seal. Ningyu knew that Grandmaster Xingyan definitely had his reasons for doing this. Therefore, Ningyu didn't waste time with Grandmaster Xingyan. Instead, he went to Bada's side and placed his hands on Bada's back, starting to break the seal. The seal in Bada's body was very serious. Under normal circumstances, Ningyu only needed 10-odd minutes to break the seal in a bloodthirsty, wild wolf's body. But if Ningyu wanted to break the seal in Bada's body, he would need at least an hour, because the seal in Bada's body was different from the other bloodthirsty wild wolf seals. Relax your mind, don't resist. Ningyu's hands were tightly on Bada's back, and strands of energy flowed into Bada's body. Uft! The moment Ningyu's energy entered Bada's body, Bada spat out a mouthful of blood and his face turned pale. I can still hold on. Bada gritted his teeth. Bada knew very well that Ningyu was helping him, so no matter how painful it was, he had to endure it. Hold on for 1 hour. Ningyu's expression was solemn. He was highly focused and did not dare to be careless. Whether or not he could break the seal in Bada's body was a matter of great importance. Ning Yu did not dare to be careless. Rumble. In Giant Shield City, Ning Yu helped Bada break the seal in his body. Outside Giant Shield City, Fairy Yun, she was fighting with Meng Quan. Time was always slipping away inadvertently. In the blink of an eye, half an hour had passed. Whoosh! Half an hour later, another figure joined the battlefield outside Giant Shield City. Jin Bo. The Jin family's ancestor, Jin Bo, finally could not endure it any longer and joined in the attack on Fairy Yun Shi. Whoosh! 20 minutes later, the ancestral patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace also joined the battle. At this point, Fairy Yin, she had already exchanged blows with 3 martial practitioners. The patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace, Jin Bo Meng Quan. Fairy Yin, she felt a lot of pressure fighting with 3 experts at the same time. Fairy Yin Shi, why don't I open a small formation, and you come back quickly? Seeing that Fairy Yin, she could not hold on any longer, Grandmaster Xingyan said hurriedly, "There's one more step. I can still hold on." Fairy Yin, she did not want the plan to fail at the last moment. She clenched her teeth. If this plan succeeded, the crisis of Giant Shield City would be resolved in one go. Therefore, Fairy Yin, she still wanted to hold on. 10 minutes at most. Grandmaster Xingyan's expression was solemn as he said in a deep voice, "I suspect that if you act rashly, you might attract the attention of those people. They should not appear." "I know. Let's wait for a few more minutes." How could Fairy Yin she not know that? However, she still wanted to wait. Buzz buzz! At the same time, in the void not far away, the 2 martial practitioners' lips curled up at the same time. One of the martial practitioners, wearing a bamboo hat, said, "This Fairy Yin, she is indeed someone who can control the 100-flower fan. She is very strong. Why, have you taken a fancy to her?" The other martial practitioner in a black robe said sinisterly, "I have to remind you that Tuahi is still in her hands. If you act now, she might make Tuahi self-destruct to injure you. Don't worry. How could I not know that?" The bamboo hat man waved his hand and said, "Let Meng Quan and the rest test Fairy Yin Shi's strength first. I won't act today." "It's good that you won't act. The time is not ripe yet." The martial practitioner in a black robe nodded and then fell silent. Rumble. The conversation between the martial practitioner in a black robe and the bamboo hat man in the void did not attract the attention of Fairy Yin Shi and Meng Quan. At this time, the battle between Fairy Yin Shi and Meng Quan had reached its climax. 3 against 1. Fairy Yin, she was at an absolute disadvantage. After another 20 minutes, even the Southern Dipper Venerable and the Northern Dipper Venerable joined the battle. 1 against 3. Fairy Yin, she could still rely on a 100-flower fan to defend herself. However, 1 against 5, or even 1 against 10, Fairy Yin, she finally could not hold on any longer. She spat out a mouthful of blood. After spitting out the blood, Fairy Yin, she's aura dropped rapidly. Retreat. Feeling Fairy Yin, she's aura drop, Grandmaster Xingyan, who was in Giant Shield City, hurriedly shouted. Swoosh! Fairy Yin, she was not an indecisive person. She quickly displayed her trump card of the 100-flower fan and forced the Southern Dipper Venerable and the rest to retreat. Then, she rushed toward the small array eye. If they wanted to enter Giant Shield City now, they could only go through the small array eye. There was no other way. Go after her. Seeing Fairy Yin, she retreat. Jin Bo and the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace were the first to rush after her. As for Meng Quan, he stayed where he was and did not chase after her. Meng Quan was a peak grade 9 elixir refinement master, and his soul power was very strong. Just now, he sensed some disappointment between Fairy Yun Shi's brows. Through the change in Fairy Yun Shi's expression, Meng Quan's heart skipped a beat. He vaguely felt that something was wrong. Therefore, Meng Quan did not chase after her. He resolutely chose to stay where he was. Open the array eye. Fairy Yin, she was very fast. In the blink of an eye, she arrived before the small array eye and entered it. Retreat quickly. At that moment, the patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace and Jean Beau, who were chasing after them, reacted and quickly retreated. However, it was obviously too late for them to retreat now. All of a sudden, a terrifying devouring power emerged from the small array eye. The devouring power was so powerful that it sucked the right legs of the patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace and Jean Beau into it in the blink of an eye. Crack! The patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace was a ruthless person. Gritting his teeth, he turned his right fist into a palm and slashed at his right leg. A crisp sound was heard. The patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace's right leg was cut off by himself. With his right leg broken, the patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace took advantage of the short window of time to retreat and avoid being devoured by the small array eye. The patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace managed to escape, but Jean Beau was not so lucky. Under the terrifying devouring power that erupted from the small array eye, he was completely sucked in. Chapter 1501. Chapter 1501. Chapter 1501 Leadership Patriarch. Outside Giant Shield City, when the Jean family's warriors saw Jean Beau being sucked into the Tower of Ascension, they immediately revealed looks of horror. Jean Beau was the strongest expert in the Jean family, an early-stage Sky Supreme. Jean Beau had played a crucial role in the Jean family's success in the Qinya Empire and becoming a force on par with the Emperor Divine Palace. If Jean Beau was caught, it would be a disaster for the Jean family. Please save the old ancestor. You must save the old ancestor from the Tower of You. The Jean family's martial artists set their sights on Meng Quan. Although Meng Quan's cultivation was only at the quasi-heavenly sovereign realm, he was powerful, and he could be said to be the strongest expert in the 100-Flower City. Asking Meng Quan for help was the best choice. All of you, behave yourselves. I'm trying to think of a way. Meng Quan did not directly refuse the warriors of the Jean family. His face was solemn as he secretly thought of a countermeasure. At first, Meng Quan thought that Master Xing Yun couldn't control the Tower of Ascension. Now, it seemed that he was indeed a little too young. Not only could Grandmaster Xing Yun control the Tower of Yuzuan, but he could also use it to fight against his enemies. Meng Quan knew better than anyone else that the suction force emitted from the small array core came from the Tower of the Supremacy of Yu. Fairy Yin, she with the Yu by flower fan, was already hard enough to deal with. Now that Master Xing Yin also had the Tower of Yuzuan, he felt a lot of pressure. Voila! At this moment, the void suddenly split open, and two figures appeared in front of everyone. The man wearing the bamboo hat and the black-robed cultivator. After the two of them appeared, they first stared at the Tower of Yuzuan and the Fan of 100 Flowers, then said solemnly, "I'll give you half an hour. After half an hour, I hope to see you attack Giant Shield City." The bamboo-hatted man and the black-robed martial artist's attitude was very firm. There was no room for negotiation. Breaking through the small formation core and entering Giant Shield City was the most basic condition. They even hoped that Meng Quan and the others would snatch the Tower of Ascension and the 100 Flowers fan. There's no way we can break into Giant Shield City in half an hour. Before Meng Quan and the rest could speak, a middle-rank Earth Sovereign shook his head. The 9th-grade Earth Sovereign's name was Deng Bin, an elder of the Emperor Palace. The reason why Deng Bin would refute the bamboo-hatted man and the black-robed martial artist was that the patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace's right leg was broken and his strength had decreased significantly. If they wanted to attack Giant Shield City within half an hour, every expert would have to give it their all. Deng Bin felt that he should buy some time for the patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace, at least for a few hours. We can't break into Giant Shield City in half an hour. The black-robed martial artist's tone was calm, and it was impossible to tell if he was happy or angry. However, from the expression of the black-robed martial artist, one could vaguely see that he was angry, but he was deliberately restraining himself. Difficult. At this point, Dangbin had no other choice, and he could only grit his teeth and say, "But it's not impossible, but what?" The black-robed martial artist said in a deep voice, "I want Meng Quan and the others to be the vanguard, and the patriarch of the Emperor Divine Palace will be the last to attack." Dangbin said reluctantly, "Very good, you know how to bargain with me." The black-robed martial artist nodded slightly, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He said, sinisterly, "You might have forgotten your identity. You're a dog that we raised. Whatever I tell you to do, you have to do. Now that the dog has disobeyed me, I can only say sorry." Hearing that, Dangbin's heart skipped a beat, and he faintly felt that something was wrong. Bang! Unfortunately, the moment Dangbin felt that something was wrong, his pupils constricted. The black-robed martial artist dashed out instantly, clenched his right fist, and punched Dangbin's chest hard. The huge force that came from Dangbin's chest sent him flying several feet away, and he fell heavily on the ground. The black-robed martial artist only wanted to establish his authority, so he did not kill Dangbin. Attack Giant Shield City in half an hour. Sweeping his gaze across Meng Quan and the others, the black-robed martial artist pointed at Dangbin, who had fallen on the ground, and said in a deep voice, "Otherwise his outcome will be the same as yours." Swoosh! The black-robed martial artist's words set off a storm in the hearts of Meng Quan and the others. Originally, Meng Quan and the others thought that the black-robed martial artist was just an ordinary Sky Supreme, and his strength was not much different from theirs. It was just that his identity was a little special. But from the looks of it now, they knew that they were wrong and very wrong. The black-robed martial artist's cultivation was indeed at the Sky Supreme, but not at the early stage, but the middle stage. If a middle stage Sky Supreme wanted to kill them, it would be a piece of cake. Go. After pondering for a moment, Meng Quan and the others moved in unison, each unleashing powerful attacks at the small array core. Meng Quan, the ancestor of Divine Emperor Palace, the Southern Dipper Venerable, the Northern Dipper Venerable, and the other high-level Earth sovereigns did not hold back. They knew very well that the black-robed martial artist was not joking. If they really could not break through the small array core in half an hour, they definitely could not bear the consequences. Rumble. A series of powerful spells were launched at the small formation core from all directions. Under the bombardment of so many powerful spells, the void around the small array core constantly shook, as if it was about to split open. Not good. Hurry up and help. Grandmaster Xing Yun originally wanted to subdue Jin Bo first, but seeing the situation of the small array core, he immediately gave up on Jin Bo and turned to resist the terrifying spells with Fairy Yun Shi. Fortunately, Grandmaster Xing Yun Shi and Fairy Yun Shi had the Yuzuan Pagoda and the 100 Flowers fan. Otherwise, they would not even be able to last a minute. Whoosh! Grandmaster Xing Yun Shi and Master Xing Yun Shi were resisting the powerful attacks of Meng Quan and the others. On the other side, Ningyu slowly let out a turbid breath and withdrew his hands from Ba Da's back. After dozens of minutes of effort, the seal in Ba Da's body was finally broken by Ningyu. Fortunately, Jin Bo was sucked into the Yuzuan Pagoda, and Jin Kitchen was killed. Otherwise, it would have taken Ningyu a lot of effort to break the seal in Ba Da's body. Go help Grandmaster Xing Yun and the others. Ningyu's eyes were extremely solemn. He looked at Grandmaster Xing Yun, then at the black-robed martial artist outside, and said in a deep voice, "Even if you are seriously injured, you must ensure the safety of the small array core." Understood. Bada was still very grateful to Ningyu. Without Ningyu, the seal in his body would not have been broken, and the geniuses of the bloodthirsty Mad Wolf clan would not have been rescued. Now that Ningyu asked him to help, he definitely would not refuse. Swoosh! Ba Da instantly rushed out with both feet on the ground. He unleashed all the energy in his body and set up an energy barrier around the small array core. Fairy Yun Shi and Grandmaster Xingyan were originally about to be unable to hold on, but with Ba Da's help, they could hold on for a while longer. Holding on for half an hour should not be a big problem. Chapter 1502. Chapter 1502. Chapter 1502 Time-lapse. Follow the plan. While Ba Da and the rest were defending the small formation core, Ning Yu contacted Mu Ping and Mu Hua, who were in the Eastern Army, and told them to follow the original plan. Ning Yu had been preparing for this for a long time, waiting for this moment. Not only did he inform Mu Ping and Mu Hua, Ning Yu also informed Ma Qianshan of the Western Army. As long as something happens to the Eastern and Western armies at the same time, I don't believe that you guys won't go back. After giving these instructions, Ning Yu turned his gaze to Master Xingyun and Fairy Yun Shi. At first, Master Xingyun and the rest were able to resist the attack of Meng Quan and the rest. But after 10 minutes, they finally couldn't resist anymore. The reason why Master Xingyun and the rest couldn't resist wasn't because Meng Quan and the rest were too strong, nor was it because they were too weak. It was because the black-robed cultivator and the man in the bamboo hat had joined the battlefield. Both the man in the bamboo hat and the black-robed cultivator were mid-sky sovereigns. With them joining the battlefield, it was only natural that Master Xingyun and Fairy Yin Shi couldn't resist anymore. Puchi! Puchi! In the next moment, Master Xingyun and Fairy Yin Shi spat out a mouthful of blood at the same time. Although Master Xingyun and Fairy Yin Shi were heavily injured and even spat out a mouthful of blood, they were still fine compared to Ba. Da fell to the ground, covered in blood, and his aura had dropped to the freezing point. Outside Giant Shield City, the black-robed cultivator said, "I'll give you a chance to live now. Hand over the Tower of Yuzuin and the 100-Flower Fan, and I can spare your lives. I can also spare the people of Giant Shield City. Otherwise, I'll massacre the entire city." The black-robed cultivator said the words massacre very calmly, to the point that there wasn't a trace of emotion in his expression. The calmer the black-robed cultivator said, the more Master Xingyun couldn't stay calm. After all, the black-robed cultivator came from a different place from him. The black-robed cultivator could really do something like massacring a city. Now that things had come to this, Ningyu knew that he couldn't just stand by and watch. Although the situation on the Eastern and Western armies had already erupted, it couldn't have spread here so quickly. Therefore, before the black-robed cultivators and the others broke through the small array core, what Ningyu needed was time. Ningyu was best at stalling for time. With a step forward, Ningyu and Grandmaster Xing Yin stood side by side. He even snatched the Tower of Yuzu from Grandmaster Xing Yan's hands. The corners of his lips curled up as Ningyu said to the black-robed cultivator outside Giant Shield City, "Are you sure you want to massacre the entire city?" The black-robed cultivator's tone was calm, but Ningyu's was even calmer. Since he had decided to stall for time, Ningyu would definitely not be indecisive. "I can open a small formation eye and let you in, but I'm afraid you don't have the guts." The next moment, Ningyu really did something big. Waving the Tower of Yuzuin in his hand, he actually broke the small formation in front of everyone. Voila! The moment the small formation broke, the eyes of the black-robed cultivators and the others outside Giant Shield City widened in extreme shock. They had gone through a lot of hardships and even used their trump cards to break through the formation core. Even so, they were unable to quickly break open the small formation eye. What Ningyu had done had indeed exceeded their expectations. However, although it was unexpected, the black-robed martial artists were not fools. There must be a reason behind this abnormality. Now that Ningyu had opened the small array eye, they didn't dare to come in. After all, Jinbo's miserable state was still vivid in their minds. What if Ningyu was waiting there, waiting for them to enter the small array core and activate the tower of the Supreme of Yuzuin to take them inside. Whoosh! In an instant, the gazes of Meng Quan and the rest shifted towards the black-robed martial artist. As expected, heroes come from the young. The black-robed martial artist did not answer Ning Yu immediately. After pondering for a moment, he said, "If I'm not wrong, I'm afraid that you'll be able to kill me. You should be trying to use this method to confuse me and make me not dare to go in. You're very smart. I didn't expect that I hid so deeply, and you actually guessed it." Ning Yu shrugged his shoulders and said with a smile, Her. But so what if you guessed it? I'm standing right here. If you're not convinced, feel free to come in." As he spoke, Ning Yu even took a few steps forward, getting even closer to the small formation eye. The position where Ning Yu was standing was already considered an extremely dangerous place. At such a close distance, as long as the black-robed martial artist or the man in the bamboo had made a move, Ning Yu would die without a doubt. Swoosh! The black-robed martial artist's eyes stared fixedly at Ning Yu, wanting to see some clues from Ning Yu's expression. Want to see through me? How can it be so easy? Ning Yu was someone who had experienced a lifetime. How could he not know what the black-robed martial artist was thinking? With a thought, Ning Yu directly shut his eyes and began to rest. What? Ning Yu's actions made the black-robed martial artist feel a little diffident. To be honest, although the black-robed martial artist suspected Ning Yu, he dared not act rashly. Since the black-robed martial artist did not speak, Meng Quan and the rest dared not move either. Time seemed to have stopped at that moment. Why isn't the news getting here yet? Ning Yu looked calm on the surface, but that was not the case in reality. At that moment, his clothes were completely drenched in sweat and stuck tightly to his back. As time passed, Ning Yu's worries grew. He was already in a difficult position. If the news about the East and West armies still did not reach him after a while, he would be in trouble. Southern Dipper the Venerable One, go over and test him. After another 10 minutes, the black-robed martial artist finally could not take it anymore and said in a deep voice, "Me." Hearing the black-robed martial artist's words, Southern Dipper the Venerable One almost fell in shock. Southern Dipper the Venerable One was not a fool. If even the black-robed martial artist did not dare to go over, he would definitely be doomed. "Why? You don't want to go?" Seeing that Southern Dipper the Venerable One did not want to go, the black-robed martial artist's tone gradually turned cold. "It's not that I don't want to go, but—" Southern Dipper the Venerable One hesitated. "He has the Tower of Yuzuin, and the Tower of Yuzuin is a peerless magic treasure. I'm afraid I'm no match for it. You have no other choice." The black-robed martial artist's tone became calm instead. It was as if the black-robed martial artist was not talking to Southern Dipper, the Venerable One, but someone unimportant. "All right, I'll go." Southern Dipper, the Venerable One, gritted his teeth and charged at Ning Yu. Southern Dipper, the Venerable One, knew his situation very well. The black-robed martial artist was right. He had no other choice. He could only take a gamble. If he won, he could kill Ning Yu and take the Tower of Yuzuin. If he lost, he could just cast the golden cicada shedding technique and escape. Eat my fist. While charging at Ning Yu, Southern Dipper the Venerable One clenched his right fist and punched in the air. Chi-chi! The speed of the punch was much faster than Southern Dipper the Venerable One. Chapter 1503. Retreat. A full-powered attack from a quasi-heavenly sovereign. Sensing the fist before him, Ning Yu did not show any ripples on the surface, but his heart was in turmoil. With his current strength, it was impossible for him to resist it. Damn it, just a little more. Am I going to leave just like that? Ning Yu wasn't willing to give up just like that. It was secondary if the Southern Dipper Venerable found an opening, and he would be done for. Oh, right. Suddenly, Ningyu thought of a countermeasure. Jin Yi, the pinnacle ninth grade alchemist of the Jin clan, Jin Yi, was still in the Ascension Pagoda. Although Jin Yi was only a 7th grade Earth Sovereign, her soul energy had reached the level of liquefying aura. With her cultivation at the 7th grade Earth Sovereign realm, she should have a 50% chance of blocking this powerful attack from the Southern Dipper Venerable. Buzz! Buzz! Jin Yi had no other choice but to pour her energy and soul energy into Ning Yu's body through the Ascension Pagoda. As the energy and soul energy continued to pour in, the aura emanating from Ning Yu had instantly reached the pinnacle. Crack! Because there was too much energy and soul energy. Cracking sounds came from Ning Yu's body. Fortunately, Ning Yu's physique was good. Otherwise, just the energy and soul energy alone would be enough to make his body explode. Still not dead. After a roar, the Southern Dipper Venerable's body stopped in the sky, and he did not continue his attack. The Southern Dipper Venerable couldn't be bothered with Ning Yu's current state. In his view, even if Ning Yu had reached the Earth's sovereign realm, it's impossible for him to resist his fist. Rumble. Under everyone's gazes, Ning Yu's fist clashed with the Southern Dipper Venerable's fist. Poof! The outcome of the clash was within everyone's expectations. Ning Yu was like a kite with a broken string. His body flew backward for dozens of feet and fell directly into Giant Shield City. Fresh blood spurted out, and Ning Yu's aura instantly dropped to the freezing point. Close the small formation eye. Enduring the excruciating pain all over his body, Ning Yu waved the tower of Yuzuin in his hand and forcefully shut the small formation eye. Although he had Jin Yi's help, in terms of raw strength, Ning Yu was still too far away from the Southern Dipper Venerable. He had no way of contending against him head-on. Since the obstruction had failed, Ning Yu could only use the last bit of strength in his body to close the small formation eye. Ha ha ha! So you are the wax head of the silver spear. In that case, I have to apologize to you. Seeing as Ning Yu fell to the ground, Southern Dipper, the Venerable One, was startled at first. Then he threw his head back and laughed out loud. Let's go together. We'll be able to destroy the small formation eye in half a minute at most. Voila! The Southern Dipper Venerable's words were the fuse. Meng Quan and the rest were all shrewd people. Since Ning Yu's scheme had been seen through, then they would no longer hold back. Several silhouettes swiftly moved, and all sorts of powerful spiritual arts were thrown towards the small formation eye. Whoosh! 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 The powerful attacks that Meng Quan and the rest had just executed had all stopped on the spot. In an instant, the entire region had turned silent, to the point that it was a little weird. What's going on? The sudden stop of Meng Quan and the rest had caused the black-robed cultivator's face to turn ugly. The black-robed cultivator had unleashed the aura of a middle-phase heavenly sovereign and violently pressured towards Meng Quan and the rest. At the same time, he coldly barked, "Quick! Destroy the small formation eye! I can't do it now. There's something on the eastern side that I have to return to deal with." Meng Quan gritted his teeth as if he had made a huge decision. "There's also a change in the southern side. I have to return as well. There's also a problem with the northern side. I have to return immediately. There's also a problem with the western side. If we don't return now, it'll be too late." Not only Meng Quan, but even the Southern Dipper Venerable, the Northern Dipper Venerable, and the ancestor of God Emperor Palace had spoken at the same time. This change had clearly caused the black-robed cultivator's face to turn extremely dark. Just when he was about to destroy the small formation eye, there was such a change. The black-robed cultivator was unwilling. "I don't care what's wrong with those armies, but what you have to do now is to destroy the small formation eye for me." The black-robed cultivator's tone was extremely cold and domineering, without any room for redemption. In fact, the black-robed cultivator could destroy the small formation eye himself. It was just that the black-robed cultivator didn't dare to. Tua, he was still in the hands of Fairy Yin Shi and the rest, and the black-robed cultivator was afraid that Fairy Yin Shi would suddenly summon Tuahi and make him self-destruct when he entered the small formation I. The only way was for Mengquan and the rest to destroy the small formation I as soon as possible and force Fairy Yin Shi to use her trump card. Only then could he successfully enter the giant shield city. That's what you said. As the Western armies didn't have anyone from Emperor Palace, they didn't have much to do with Emperor Palace. So the Patriarch of Emperor Palace said, "If the 100 Flowers Demon Palace is breached, it has nothing to do with us. Don't worry. Even if the 100 Flowers Demon Palace is breached, No, what did you say?" Initially, the black-robed cultivator was still rather arrogant and indifferent. But when he reacted, he immediately shouted, "The 100 Flowers Demon Palace is breached. Who has the guts to actually dare to attack the 100 Flowers Demon Palace? Don't they know that the Demon Lord is currently in the 100 Flowers Demon Palace? It's not a few people attacking the 100 Flowers Demon Palace, but thousands of people attacking the 100 Flowers Demon Palace together." Mengquan followed up the Patriarch's words and said, "Now, the entire 4 armies have completely rebelled. They're being controlled and have started to advance towards the 100 Flowers Demon Palace." In the beginning, Mengquan didn't want to interfere with this matter, but the Eastern armies had 2 of his disciples, Mu Ping and Mu Hua. He had to interfere. Damn it! Hearing Mengquan's words, the black-robed cultivator gritted his teeth in anger. In order to attack the giant shield city, the 100 Flowers Demon Palace almost turned out in full force. Now, the giant shield city had not been breached, but the 100 Flowers Demon Palace was the first to have a problem. "Let's go." With a gloomy expression, the black-robed cultivator gritted his teeth, then turned around and flew towards the 100 Flowers Demon Palace. Swoosh! The man in the bamboo hat followed closely behind the black-robed cultivator and disappeared. However, when the man in the bamboo hat disappeared, a faint voice resounded in this area. "Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace, stay behind and watch the small array corps. Without my permission, you can't go anywhere." Swoosh! The words of the man in the bamboo hat made the face of the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace darken instantly. Let him stay behind? That was no different from courting death. Boom! Mengquan and the rest did not care about the complicated feelings of the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace at this moment. They teleported and disappeared in the blink of an eye. "Master, what do we do now?" Seeing Mengquan and the rest disappear, a martial artist of the same age as Ningyu frowned and said hesitantly, "Do we defend here or return to Emperor Divine Palace?" Chapter 1504. Chapter 1504. Chapter 1504. Relocate. Small formation Who? Inside giant shield city. When Ningyu saw the black-robed cultivators retreat, he heaved a sigh of relief. The worry in his heart eased somewhat. To be honest, at that moment, Ningyu had almost lost all hope. In their current state, there was no way they could withstand the powerful attacks of the black-robed cultivators and the others. No matter what, since the black-robed cultivator and the others had retreated, it meant that his plan had succeeded. Mu Ping and the others had indeed caused a disturbance, forcing the black-robed martial artist and the others to return. "What's going on?" Master Xing Yin opened his mouth slightly, and his face was filled with confusion. Ningyu knew the plan, but he didn't. Seeing that the black-robed cultivators were about to break through the small formation core, it did not make sense for them to retreat now. "There's something I haven't told you. When I left, I didn't go anywhere else. I was with the Eastern Army. Now that things had come to this, Ningyu had nothing to hide. He told Master Xing Yun about what had happened to him during this period of time. Of course, Ningyu did not mention anything about Xie. All right. Hearing Ningyu's description, Master Xingyin could not help but applaud. Fortunately, Ningyu had a trick up his sleeve. Otherwise, he would not have been able to break out of this predicament. Make good use of this time to recuperate and try to find a way to move this small array before the black-robed martial artist's return. Ning, you did not want to waste time here. His plan was not flawless. Once Meng Quan and the others returned to their respective armies, things would quickly settle down. During this period of time, their task was arduous. Not only did he have to recover to his peak condition, but he also had to find a way to move the small array core away, relocate a small formation core. Ningyu's words caused Master Xingyin and Fairy Yin Shi to be a little stunned. They were a little confused. Ever since the peerless killing array existed, the small formation core had been fixed here. How was it supposed to be transferred? Both Master Xingyin and Fairy Yin, she knew nothing about it. Although the small formation core has been fixed here, it is not impossible to transfer it. How could Ningyu not know what Master Xingyin and the others were thinking? He said in a low voice, I can clearly tell you that all formations with small formation cores can be transferred. It's just that the method is a little complicated and requires a lot of preparation. But it's fine. With the current resources of Shield City, giant formation cores can be transferred. In his previous life, Ningyu was a Sky Supreme and a peak 9th grade alchemist. Coincidentally, Ningyu had refined a life-saving elixir for a pinnacle heavenly supreme powerhouse. This 2-on-12-121 2111 of 2-inch 1-1-1-1. Ningyu thought that he would never have to use that method. Who would have thought that he would actually be able to use it in his rebirth? Of 4. All right, for one said. Star 1, Master Xingyin Shi and Master Xingyin Shi did not believe him. To be honest, if they did not know that Ningyu was very powerful, Master Xingyin and Fairy Yin, she would definitely not believe Ningyu. Whoosh! Whoosh! In the next moment, Master Xingyin Shi and Master Xingyin Shi flew to the other side and sat down to recuperate. As for Ningyu, he was not in a hurry to recuperate. Instead, he went to Bada and placed his hands on Bada's back to check on his injuries. In order to stop Meng Quan and the others from attacking the small formation core, Bada had taken the lead and suffered heavy casualties. If Bada was not a bloodthirsty wolf with thick skin and thick flesh, he would have been decapitated by now. Even so, Bada was on the verge of death and his injuries were serious. Jean E. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu began to contact Jean E. If he wanted to alleviate Bada's injuries, he would need to use a 9th grade soul force. Ningyu's current soul force was only at the peak of the 8th grade. He was still a little away from the 9th grade. Therefore, asking for Jean Yi's help was a matter of course. Buzz. Although she was furious, Jean E did not dare to disobey Ningyu. With a thought, the soul force that she had just recovered entered Ningyu's body. Swish. While Ningyu was treating Bada's injuries, outside Giant Shield City, Di Lingtian shifted his gaze to him. Di Lingtian's expression was calm and did not show any emotion. Di Lingtian opened his mouth and said, Master, Ningyu's strength should only be slightly weaker than mine. He will be a formidable opponent. Di Lingtian knew his own strength very well. As a peak 1st grade Earth Supreme, he could fight against a 4th grade Earth Supreme. Although Ningyu was only a 9th grade Earth Supreme, Di Lingtian did not let his guard down. It was not difficult for some genius warriors to challenge those of a higher level. It's fine. You can suppress Ningyu now, so you will definitely be able to suppress him in the future. The old ancestor waved his hand and continued, Let's wait here first. I believe that Meng Quan and the rest will be back soon. Although it was a huge matter for the 4 armies to attack the 100 Flowers Demon Palace, it was nothing in the eyes of the old ancestor. The black-robed cultivator and the man wearing the bamboo hat were both middle phase heavenly sovereigns. As long as they unleashed their auras, the crisis would be resolved. At that time, the black-robed cultivator and Meng Quan would definitely be the first to return. When we capture Ningyu, I hope to spar with him. Di Lingtian seemed to have an indescribable interest in Ningyu. He had always been thinking about Ningyu and wanted to clash with Ningyu. Don't worry, Ningyu will definitely not be able to escape from our palms. The corner of the old ancestor's lips rose as he eerily said. If the words of the old ancestor were heard by Ningyu would probably reveal a disdainful expression. Where did you guys get the courage to capture me alive? Naturally, Ningyu couldn't possibly know what the old ancestor was talking about, since his attention was on Ba De. Time swiftly passed. In the blink of an eye, 10-odd minutes had passed. Ningyu's hands slowly moved away from Ba Da's back. Wiping the sweat on his forehead, Ningyu said, I have already treated 50% of your injuries. The rest is up to you. Thanks. Ba De cupped his fists towards Ningyu. From today onwards, my life belongs to you. I will not frown no matter where you ask me to go. Make the best use of your time to recuperate. I will need your help later. Ningyu waved his hand and continued, Right now, your main task is to recuperate while keeping an eye on the Emperor Palace's party. As long as they make any movements, inform me immediately. Understood. Ba De nodded. Let's get ready first. Once Master Xingyun and Fairy Yin have recovered, we will immediately start moving the small formation core. Ningyu's expression was extremely solemn. Although his injuries had just recovered a little, he didn't dare to recover now. After all, moving the small formation core was a serious matter. If the small formation core had not been moved by the time the black-robed cultivators returned, the situation would be extremely dangerous. Chapter 1505. Chapter 1505. Chapter 1505 movement. Fortunately, many people in Giant Shield City knew Ningyu, especially Chengling, who had fought alongside Ningyu in the Void Mystery Land. With the help of Chengling, Ningyu frantically searched for the things he needed in Giant Shield City. There were too many things that needed to be prepared to move a small array core. Even though Giant Shield City was a huge city, Ningyu had no way of gathering everything. After half an hour, Ningyu finally found 80% of the materials. Half an hour wasn't long, but it wasn't short either. Even though he had only found 80% of the materials, Ningyu did not dare to continue searching. If they continued searching, and Meng Quan and the others killed their way back to the small formation's eye, the losses would outweigh the gains. Xiu. After bidding farewell to Qingling, Ningyu moved quickly and arrived at the north gate of Giant Shield City in the blink of an eye. Ningyu's gaze lingered on the small array eye for a while. Then his gaze shifted and fell on the people from Emperor Palace outside the city. To be more precise, it landed on Di Lingtian. At this moment, Di Lingtian raised his brows and stared at Ningyu with interest. He opened his mouth and said indifferently, Ningyu, do you dare to come out and spar with me? Idiot. Ningyu rolled his eyes and spat out the word idiot. He then turned around and walked towards the small array eye. Why should I spar with you? What a joke. I still have to move the small array core. I don't have the time to accompany you here. Ka. Hearing Ningyu's ridicule, Di Lingtian gritted his teeth. Di Lingtian clenched his fists tightly, and the bones in his palms made cracking sounds. Don't be impatient. The matter with the 4 armies has been settled. It won't be long before the black-robed martial artists rush back. At that time, Ningyu will definitely die. The old ancestor of Emperor God Palace waved his hand, signaling Di Lingtian not to worry. In any case, the small formation core is here, and you can't move it away. As long as the small formation I can't be moved, we have a way to break it and easily enter Giant Shield City. Master, I understand. Taking a deep breath, Di Lingtian tried his best to calm himself down. The situation is a little complicated. We still lack 20% of the materials. Ning Yu stared at the small formation eye, and a solemn expression appeared on his face. The cleverest housewife cannot cook without rice. Ning Yu's current state was similar to that of a clever housewife. Without the materials, no matter how strong he was, he would not be able to move the small formation core away. I need to find another material to replace it. Ning Yu was not an indecisive person. Although it was risky to replace it with other materials, it was still much better than it was now. Grandmaster Xingyin, Fairy Yin Shi, I need the following materials. Give me as many as you have. Ning Yu did not care whether Grandmaster Xingyin and Fairy Yin Shi had recovered to their peak state. He hurriedly sent a voice transmission to Grandmaster Xingyin and Fairy Yin Shi. Stone skin powder, 10,000 years milk. Whether the small formation core could be moved or not was the key to defending Giant Shield City. Even though Grandmaster Xingyin and Fairy Yin Shi were still recuperating, Ning Yu had to wake them up. I have stone skin powder. Fairy Yin, she knew the seriousness of the matter. She took out a storage bag and threw it to Ning Yu. She said, and I have a way to find the other materials you mentioned. They are in Giant Shield City. Thank you, hurry up and find them. Ning Yu thanked her and said hurriedly, every second counts. What Ning Yu had to do was race against time. From Mu Ping and Mu Hua, Ning Yu understood that Meng Quan and the rest would return to Giant Shield City in half an hour. Therefore, there was only half an hour left for Ning Yu. It was indeed a little difficult to move away a small array core in half an hour, especially under the premise that there were not enough materials. Maybe Ning Yu can really move the small formation core away. Ning Yu's serious expression moved Grandmaster Xingyin. Taking a deep breath, Fairy Yin Shi's figure flashed as she hurriedly went to find the remaining materials. At first, Fairy Yin Shi did not believe Ning Yu. She thought that Ning Yu was fooling around and would never move the small formation core away. Now that she saw Ning Yu's serious expression, Fairy Yin Shi felt that she might be wrong. No matter what, she chose to believe in Ning Yu. Crack! The space split open, and Fairy Yin Shi disappeared in the blink of an eye. I have 8 materials. I don't have the rest. Grandmaster Xingyin took out a storage bag and threw it to Ning Yu. Fairy Yin Shi had a way to find the materials because her position in Giant Shield City was extremely high. Basically, no one would disobey her. As for Grandmaster Xingyin Shi, he had no connections or resources in Giant Shield City. He could only give all the materials he had on him to Ning Yu. Pa! Taking the storage bag from Grandmaster Xingyin, Ning Yu did not even look at it. He said, Grandmaster Xingyin, I will pass you a chant. Follow it. Ning Yu knew the severity of the situation. His priority was not to wait for Fairy Yin Shi to return, but to immediately move the small formation core. 80 to 90% of the materials could move the small formation core a certain distance. In Giant Shield City, in front of the small formation core, Ning Yu did not want to wait for Meng Quan and the rest to return with the small formation core still in place. Therefore, before Fairy Yin Shi brought the materials over, he had already started moving the small formation core. Whoosh! All kinds of materials were taken out at the same time. Ning Yu placed them around the small formation core according to a certain pattern. Then, Ning Yu forced out 2 drops of blood essence and dripped them on the small formation core. Rumble! As soon as Ning Yu was done, the small formation core started to shake. The shaking was getting more and more intense. Grandmaster Xingyin, do it quickly! At the critical moment, Ning Yu shouted at Grandmaster Xingyin, Go! Grandmaster Xingyin did not dare to delay. He followed the guidance of the chant and wrapped all the energy in his body around his wrist. Then he blasted it at the small formation core. Plop! Grandmaster Xingyin did not hold back. After unleashing this attack, he sat on the ground paralyzed. His aura was weak. Boom! Fortunately, with the help of Grandmaster Xingyin's attack, the small formation core underwent an earth-shattering change. It was actually forcefully separated from the void. As for Ningyu, he held the small formation core with both hands and slowly walked toward the center of Giant Shield City. Gulp! The sudden change caused the people from Emperor Palace outside Giant Shield City to open their mouths wide. They were dumbfounded. What the hell is going on? Why is the small formation core being separated from the void? The Patriarch of Emperor Palace could not hide the surprise between his eyebrows. He was just thinking that unless Ningyu moved the small formation core away, he would be captured sooner or later. Now, Ningyu was actually holding the small formation core with both hands and walking toward the center of Giant Shield City step by step. This situation was clearly out of his expectations. What the hell is going on? How can he move the small formation core away? The Patriarch of Emperor Palace opened his eyes wide and stared at Ningyu, hoping to find some flaws. Unfortunately, after repeated checks, he finally came to a conclusion. The small formation core was indeed being moved slowly by Ningyu. The Patriarch of Emperor Palace had mixed feelings and even felt like he had been F***ed. Whoosh! Chapter 1506. The return of the experts looking at the silhouettes that suddenly appeared. The old ancestor of the Emperor Palace was briefly stunned before joy appeared on his face. The lineup this time was extremely powerful. The black-robed cultivator, the man in the bamboo hat, Mengquan, the Southern Dipper Venerable, and the Northern Dipper Venerable. Even the Western Dipper Venerable, who wasn't present the previous time, was amongst the crowd. Evidently, the black-robe cultivator was determined to break the array core and attack the Giant Shield City, the old ancestor of the Emperor Palace. After appearing, the black-robed cultivator's gaze only lingered on the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace for a second before shifting to Ningyu. He said in a deep voice, "Why do I feel that what Ningyu is dragging looks like a small array? That's not a small-scale array core. It's indeed a small-scale array core." The old ancestor's expression was a little exaggerated, which showed that he was also shocked. "Then, what are you waiting for? Quickly attack the small-scale array core." Seeing the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace's shocked expression and his inaction, the black-robed martial artist's tone instantly turned cold. He said, "If we let Ningyu move the small formation eye away, we may have to work several times harder to attack Giant Shield City." All right, the old ancestor of the Emperor Palace simply had the urge to F***Sike himself. He had waited here for so long, but in the end, he was still the first one to make a move. He really had bitterness that he could not express. However, the old ancestor of the Emperor Palace knew that he had no other choice but to be the first to make a move. Otherwise, the black-robed cultivator might really be able to kill him. With the black-robed cultivator's cultivation at the middle phase Heavenly Sovereign Realm, it wouldn't take much effort for him to kill an initial phase Heavenly Sovereign. Since he would definitely die if he stayed, then he might as well try to break the small-scale array core. Whoosh! The black-robed cultivator flashed and arrived before the small-scale array core in the blink of an eye. Rumble! The massive attack did not stop in the sky and landed before Ningyu. Sizzle! 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 Space was torn apart as the shockwaves from the attack swept towards Ningyu. Go! Seeing that the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace had made a move, Master Xingyun and Ba did not dare to be negligent. They moved and stood in front of Ningyu. Fortunately, Ningyu had moved some distance with the small formation eye, so the attack of the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace had to penetrate the void to hit him. On the other hand, the old ancestor's cultivation was only at the middle phase Heavenly Sovereign Realm. Under the obstruction of space, the power of his attack was greatly reduced by the time it reached Ningyu. With Bada and Master Nebula blocking from the side, they easily blocked the attack. "Trash! All of you, charge!" Seeing as the great ancestor of Emperor Divine Palace could not do anything to Ningyu, the black-robed martial artist was infuriated. He roared, "South Dipper Venerable, North Dipper Venerable, West Dipper Venerable, Meng Quan, all of you attack!" The black-robed martial artist was completely enraged. If Ningyu was given more time, Ningyu would definitely be able to take away the small array core. At that time, his plan would fall short of success. Swish! Just like the old ancestor of Emperor Divine Palace, the South Dipper Venerable and the rest had no choice but to attack. 4 half-step heavenly sovereigns attacked Ningyu from all directions. But unfortunately, no matter how hard Meng Quan and the rest attacked, they could not hurt Ningyu at all. Ningyu was still moving toward the center of Giant Shield City with a small array core. "Why don't I make a move?" The man in the bamboo hat frowned and said, "We can't go on like this. If Ningyu really moves the small array core away, the consequences will be unimaginable." No, the black-robed martial artist refused. Tua, he is still in their hands. If we make a move, they might use it to threaten us. They might even detonate it and severely injure us. But if we can't break into Giant Shield City this time, we'll have to face the Peerless Killing Array. The man in the bamboo hat gritted his teeth. Thinking about the terror of the Peerless Killing Array, the man in the bamboo hat felt his heart palpitate. The Peerless Killing Array was no joke. According to their investigations, at least tens of thousands of people would have to die if they wanted to break the Peerless Killing Array. At that time, it would not be an exaggeration to say that blood would flow like a river. What are you afraid of? The Peerless Killing Array is not invincible. The 100 Flowers Demon Master has already contacted an Array Master from another central continent. In 3 days, that Array Master will come. The black-robed cultivator waved his hand and said sullenly, "That Formation Master is said to be the strongest in the Heavenly Demon domain in terms of formations. With his help, I believe that killing formations will not be a problem." Central Continent. Has the Central Continent's army already started? The man in the bamboo hat's attention was not on the Array Master, but on the Central Continent. Nodding, the black-robed martial artist said, "The Central Continent is already under our control. The plan to control the Dancheng mainland will start with attacking Giant Shield City." "Okay, let's do that." The man in the bamboo hat was a little excited. Since the people from the Central Continent had succeeded, the people from the Dancheng mainland could not be at a disadvantage. Puff! Puff! In Giant Shield City, Bada and Master Xingyan were finally injured by the aftermath of the powerful attack after holding on for half an hour. They both spat out a mouthful of blood. After all, Bada and Master Xingyan had not recovered to their peak state. It was not easy for them to hold on for half an hour. However, even though they were injured, Bada and Master Xingyan would not retreat. They knew very well that if they retreated, Ningyu would definitely be attacked. Given Ningyu's state, if he was attacked, he would be crippled even if he did not die. The small array eye was still in Ningyu's hands. If something happened to Ningyu, the small array eye would definitely be broken. Therefore, Master Xingyan and Bada had to hold on. Even if they died in battle, they had to hold on. Everyone, let's work harder. We're about to break the small array eye. Outside Giant Shield City, the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace was extremely excited. He had waited here for so long and was finally going to attack Giant Shield City. How could he not be excited? Swoosh! However, the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace's excitement did not last long. His eyes widened and his face was filled with confusion. A figure flew over from the center of Giant Shield City and came to Ningyu's side in the blink of an eye. That figure was none other than Fairy Yun Shi. With a flick of her wrist, Fairy Yun, she handed several materials to Ningyu. Then, together with Bada and the others, they began to resist the attack of the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace. My God, my God! Seeing the sudden appearance of Fairy Yun Shi, the Patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace almost spat out a mouthful of blood. One must know that Fairy Yin, she came with the 100 Flowers fan. With the 100 Flowers fan, Fairy Yin Shi's combat power was enough to compete with the Sky Supreme. Chapter 1507. 100 Flowers, Demon Lord, shows his might. All right. Some were happy, some were sad. The ones who were worried were the patriarch of Emperor Divine Palace and Mengquan. The one who was happy was Ningyu, receiving the materials that Fairy Yin she had tossed over. Ningyu didn't say a word as he forcefully threw them into the small array core. Buzz! With the injection of new materials, the small formation swayed even further. However, this kind of shaking did not make Ningyu nervous. Instead, it made Ningyu very excited. Now that he had all the materials, Ningyu's movement speed had increased significantly. Previously, Ningyu could only move a few steps per minute. Now, he could run more than 10 meters per minute. Comparing the two, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that his steps were as fast as flying. Fairy Yin Shi, don't fight recklessly. Find a chance to leave at any time. The pressure on Ningyu's body was greatly reduced, and he could even send a voice transmission to Fairy Yin Shi. I will bring the small formation core to the city, Lord's mansion. When the time comes, we will meet there. As he spoke, Ningyu rushed to the city, Lord mansion with the small array eye. Rumble. Seeing that Ningyu was about to leave, the progenitor of Emperor Divine Palace, Mengquan, and the others no longer held back and unleashed their trump cards. Unfortunately, Ningyu walked further and further away. No matter how much they used their trump cards, they were unable to harm Ningyu. Furthermore, with Ningyu's disappearance, their attacks had already triggered the Peerless Killing Array. Voila! The defensive power of a Peerless Killing Array was still very shocking. Sensing an attack, the Supreme Killing Formation activated its defense system and reflected the attacks of the patriarchs of Emperor God Palace. Pu-piu-piu. The overwhelming attacks bounced back, causing the patriarchs of Emperor God Palace and the others to suffer greatly. Relatively speaking, Patriarch of Emperor God Palace and Mengquan were in a better situation. After all, they were powerful and could withstand the rebound attack from the ultimate killing formation. On the other hand, Nando the Venerable and the others were embarrassed. They were injured by their own attacks and were sent flying several feet away. Fortunately, at the critical moment, the black-robed martial artist blocked the rebound attack for them. Otherwise, it was very likely that they would have been seriously injured. The Peerless Killing Formation had a special characteristic. If you attack it, it will reflect the attack. As long as you don't touch it, it won't react. Now that the small array had been moved away by Ningyu, if they wanted to attack at the North Gate again, they would definitely trigger the Peerless Killing Array. The best opportunity had been missed. Go back and mobilize the 4 armies. Surround Giant Shield City. Don't let even a fly escape. Although the black-robed martial artist had already expected this result, he was still very angry when it really happened. However, despite his anger, the black-robed cultivator had no other choice. He could only order Mengquan and the others to lead the army to surround Giant Shield City. They had to wait for the array master from the central mainland to come over. Once an array master came to Giant Shield City, the Peerless Killing Array would become a papier-mâché array that could be easily broken. Hua! Originally, Mengquan and the others were worried that the black-robed martial artist would reprimand them. Now that they heard the black-robed martial artist's words, it was as if they had been granted amnesty. They hurriedly tore open the void and entered. In an instant, there were only 2 martial artists left here. The black-robed martial artist looked at Fairy Yin Shi, Ningyu, and the others who were gradually disappearing from his sight. His face became increasingly gloomy. Although an array master could easily break the Peerless Killing Array once he arrived. However, he had led the 4 armies over, but they still couldn't break through Giant Shield City. This was an indisputable fact. This matter had already aroused the dissatisfaction of 100 Flowers' Demon Master. He had to seize the time to remedy the situation. As for how to remedy the situation, he hadn't thought of it yet. Ning, you didn't know about the black-robed martial artist's anger. He brought the small array all the way to the city lord's residence and placed it in an absolutely safe place. Who? After doing all this, Ningyu heaved a sigh of relief. That was close. Luckily, he knew how to move the small array in his previous life. Otherwise, Giant Shield City would have long been breached. Grandmaster Xingyan, what's the situation at the South Gate? Ning Yu only relaxed for a moment before his face became solemn. The 4 armies were stationed at the South Gate. In Ning Yu's opinion, since the black-robed martial artist and the others couldn't enter Giant Shield City through the small array they would definitely attack from the South Gate and break the peerless killing array by taking turns to fight. Therefore, he couldn't let his guard down. The 4 armies have already started to move. The other 3 armies have already moved to the other 3 gates. Only the Southern Army was left at the South Gate. Grandmaster Xingyan explained, now that the problem of the small array has been solved, I believe that even if they attack the peerless killing array with all their strength, they definitely won't be able to break it so quickly. Moreover, looking at their posture, it seems that they plan to stay here for a long time. They have no intention of making a move. They don't plan to make a move. Ning Yu was stunned at first, then said, We can't let our guard down on this matter. I suggest we go to the South Gate and take a look. All right. Although he thought that Ningyu's worry was unnecessary, Grandmaster Xingyan didn't stop Ningyu. Instead, he said, Let's go to the south now, rumble. Before Grandmaster Xingyan finished saying the word South Gate, the entire city lord's mansion began to shake violently. What's going on? This change was clearly out of everyone's expectations. Grandmaster Xingyan's eyes widened as he exclaimed, Why is the city lord's mansion shaking? Could it be that they're attacking from underground? Impossible. The peerless killing array is omnidirectional. The danger of attacking from underground is even greater than attacking from the front gate. Ning Yu's expression was solemn as he said in a deep voice, Something might have happened to the palace master of 100 Flowers. Let's go and take a look. Grandmaster Xingyan and Fairy Yin, she didn't know, but Ningyu knew very well. It must be a problem with the soul attraction technique. The palace master of 100 Flowers was using the soul attraction technique in an attempt to severely injure the mysterious expert in the palace from afar, the so-called 100 Flowers Demon Master. Unfortunately, the 100 Flowers Demon Master also knew the soul attraction technique. Both sides used the soul attraction technique at the same time, and the 100 Flowers Demon Master had the help of an expert, so the palace master of 100 Flowers Demon Master had a problem. And it was a big problem. Actually, Ningyu's guess was right. At this moment, the palace master of 100 Flowers Demon Master's entire body began to swell, and her aura leaked out, constantly hitting the floor of the secret chamber. It was the palace master of 100 Flowers Demon Master's continuous attacks that caused the city lord's mansion to shake continuously, giving off a feeling of extreme panic. Bada, go and stabilize the people in Giant Shield City. Don't let them panic. Fairy Yin, she, Grandmaster Xingyan, and I will go to the palace master of 100 Flowers Demon Master now. At this point, Ning Yu could only bite the bullet and go to see the palace master of 100 Flowers Demon Master. To be honest, even Ning Yu wasn't confident that he could save the palace master of 100 Flowers Demon Master. This was because if he wanted to save the palace master of 100 Flowers Demon Master, he needed to control her first. Grandmaster Xingyan and Fairy Yin, she might not be able to control the palace master of 100 Flowers Demon Master, who had used the soul attraction technique. If Ning Yu's guess was right, the 100 Flowers Demon Master had probably detonated her own soul power in an attempt to perish together with the palace master of 100 Flowers Demon Master's soul power. Chapter 1508. Help! What's going on in the city lord's mansion? The violent shaking of the city lord's mansion had caused the entire giant shield city to panic. On the streets, in the houses, and in the cellars, everyone shifted their gazes towards the city lord's mansion with panic in their eyes. Everyone in the giant shield city knew that the Centauria Palace Master was in the city lord's mansion, and the Centauria Palace Master was their pillar of support. If anything happened to the Centauria Palace Master, they wouldn't be able to hold on. So the violent shaking of the city lord's mansion made everyone extremely worried. There were even many people who left their residences and rushed towards the city lord's mansion to see what was going on. Panic, fear, unease. The entire giant shield city was shrouded in all sorts of unease. Everyone calm down. The Centauria Palace Master is cultivating a secret technique, and she's at a crucial moment. Since he was entrusted with this task, he had to do it. Since Bada had promised Ningyu to calm down the people of Giant Shield City, he definitely wouldn't go back on his word. He hovered above Giant Shield City and unleashed his aura as he swept his gaze across everyone. Anyone who dares to approach the city lord's mansion will be killed without mercy. Whoosh! Everyone exclaimed. The reason why everyone exclaimed wasn't because of Bada's words, but because they were shocked by the aura he emitted. Pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign. They weren't fools, and everyone knew the current situation in Giant Shield City. Aside from Daoist Shinemo and Fairy Yin Shi, there shouldn't be any other Pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereigns in Giant Shield City. Who would have thought that there would be another Pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign? Initially, everyone wasn't very confident in fending off the four armies, but after sensing Bada's aura, everyone's confidence was greatly boosted. At the same time, in a secret room in the city lord's mansion, the Centauria Palace Master's body swelled up, and it looked like she would explode at any moment. Outside the secret room, Ningyu's expression was extremely solemn. The Centauria Palace Master's situation was much more serious than he'd expected. The Centauria Fiend Lord had already used the soul guidance technique to draw out the soul power in the Centauria Palatial Lord's Sea of Consciousness before the Centauria Palatial Lord. If this continued, the Centauria Palace Master would definitely self-destruct. On the other hand, the Centauria Palace Master was only taking control of Xia Lan's body temporarily. By then it would be one corpse and two lives. What should we do? Fairy Yin Shi's expression was no better than Ningyu's. Although she didn't know what had happened to the 100 Flowers Palace Master, Fairy Yin Shi could tell from Ningyu's face how serious the problem was. You and Master Nebula will move together. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said in a serious tone, Master Xingyin, take the Palace Master's soul power out of Xielan's body, and you will be in charge of controlling Xielan. I will personally use the soul attraction art to fight against the Palace Master of 100 Flowers. No. Grandmaster Xingyin and Fairy Yin, she shouted at the same time. Even Palatial Lord Centauria isn't Centauria Fiend Lord's match. So how can you possibly contend with Centauria Fiend Lord? Where there's life, there's hope. I've already made up my mind. There's no need for you to say anything more, Ningyu said in a deep voice. In fact, Ningyu was also very helpless. If there was any other way, he would definitely not take the risk out of desperation. There was something that Ningyu did not say out loud. He had to do it. Otherwise, if the Palace Master of 100 Flowers retracted the soul power he left in Xielan's body or detonated it completely, the Palace Master's body would be completely under his control. Therefore, Ningyu had to use the soul attraction art to severely injure the Palace Master's body before the Palace Master retracted his soul power. However, the success rate of doing so was very low, and any carelessness would result in a tragic death. All right, since Ningyu had already made up his mind, Grandmaster Xingyin and Fairy Yin, she had nothing else to say. Their figures flashed, and they instantly rushed into the secret chamber. Die! Inside the secret chamber, the palace master of 100 Flowers' eyes immediately shot out a terrifying light when she saw Grand Master Xing Yun and Fairy Yun Shi enter. After letting out a low roar, she immediately launched a powerful attack at Grand Master Xing Yun and the others. Fortunately, Grand Master Xing Yun and Fairy Yun Shi were strong, or they would really be defeated by the palace master of 100 Flowers. Rumble! All kinds of spells were used in the secret chamber. Come out. After fighting for a while, Grand Master Xing Yun released his soul power and sent it into Xia Lan's body. Since the strength of Grand Master Xing Yun's soul power had reached the level of liquid transformation pill, it didn't take much effort for him to extract the palace master's soul power from Xia Lan's body. Suppress. After Grand Master Xing Yun extracted the palace master's soul power, Fairy Yun, she activated the 100 Flowers fan and sealed Xia Lan's entire body. You two protect me. I'm going to use the soul attraction art to fight with the palace master of 100 Flowers. Ning Yu wasn't an indecisive person, and he naturally wouldn't waste such a good opportunity. Moving his body, Ning Yu arrived beside Xia Lan in the blink of an eye and sat down cross-legged. Slap. With both hands on Xia Lan's back, Ning Yu's peak 8th grade soul power completely entered Xia Lan's body. This, Grand Master Xing Yun and Fairy Yun, she were a little dumbfounded when they saw Ning Yu's actions. Didn't he need the soul attraction pill to use the soul attraction art? Why didn't Ning Yu do any preparatory work before using the soul attraction art? What should we do now? Fairy Yun, she held the 100 Flowers fan and bit her lips. At this moment, she was very fragile. She placed all her hopes on Ning Yu. Whether Ning Yu succeeded or not was a matter of great importance. Protect Ning Yu. Grand Master Xing Yun first stored the palace master's soul power, then said in a deep voice, "Based on my understanding of Ning Yu, he would never do something he wasn't confident in. Since he said he's going to use the soul attraction art to fight against the palace master of 100 Flowers, he's definitely confident." After going through so many things with Ning Yu, Grand Master Xing Yun naturally chose to believe in Ning Yu. All right. Fairy Yun, she had no other choice but to nod and stand guard for Ning Yu. What Grand Master Xing Yun and Fairy Yun she didn't know was that in one of the halls of the 100 Flowers Palace, a warrior wrapped in a red robe suddenly raised his eyebrows, and a playful smile appeared on his face. "Palace Master of 100 Flowers, I didn't expect you to have an expert helping you." Opposite the red-robed martial artist, a woman sat cross-legged with an extremely pale face. "Palace Master of 100 Flowers." Sitting opposite the red-robed martial artist was the Palace Master of 100 Flowers. "Didn't I get tricked by you?" Palace Master of 100 Flowers opened her eyes slowly with an expressionless face. "I didn't expect you to know the soul attraction art." Palace Master of 100 Flowers had basically given up now. Ever since her soul attraction art was countered by the Palace Master of 100 Flowers, her situation had taken a turn for the worse. She was no longer able to fight against the Palace Master of 100 Flowers head-on, but was now at a complete disadvantage. If the Palace Master of 100 Flowers was given a few more hours, her body would be completely controlled. By then, there would only be two fates for her. Chapter 1509. Chapter 1509. Chapter 1509. To do it personally, of course, I know the soul attraction technique. The 100 Blossoms Demon Master's lips curled up. "Don't worry, I won't kill you for now. I want to see just how strong the martial artist behind you is." Humph. Palatial Lord Centauria snorted coldly and turned her head away. Due to the failure of the soul guidance technique, Palatial Lord Centauria had lost contact with the soul force in Giant Shield City. In other words, the Palace Master didn't know that the person helping her in Giant Shield City was Ning Yu. In her opinion, the one who helped her should be Grand Master Xing Yun. After all, Grand Master Xing Yun's soul power had reached the level of liquefying into a pill. Master Xing Yun's soul power and Ning Yu's experience. Hope reignited in palatial Lord Centuria's heart. Of course, there was only a tiny bit of hope in palatial Lord Centuria's heart. It was so tiny that even she didn't believe it. But having hope was better than nothing. Whoosh! Ning, you didn't know what happened in the Flower Palace. However, even if Ning Yu knew about it, he had no time to care because he was currently facing a huge problem. His soul power had already entered Xielan's sea of consciousness, and he saw the soul power left behind by the 100 Flowers Demon Lord. However, the 100 Flowers Demon Master's soul power had grown much stronger. It was clear that the 100 Flowers Demon Master and the Palace Master had not only gained the upper hand during the time they were using the soul attraction technique, but the 100 Flowers Demon Master had also devoured a portion of the Palace Master's soul. Of course, Ning Yu wasn't too worried about the 100 Flowers Demon Master's soul power. The only thing that made things difficult for Ning Yu was that Xielan's soul force was already controlled by the 100 Flowers Demon Master. Xielan's body had originally been controlled by the Centauria Palace Mistress. Now that the Centauria Palace Mistress' spiritual force had been expelled, this body naturally belonged to the Centauria Palace Mistress. Ning Yu? Seeing Ning Yu's face, 100 Flowers Demon Master was slightly surprised. A few months ago, he had come into contact with Ning Yu. At that time, his soul power had been jointly controlled by Ning Yu and Palace Master Centauria. It was only because he wanted to use the soul attraction technique that he was able to preserve this wisp of soul force. Now that she saw Ning Yu, how could 100 Flowers Demon Master not be surprised? 100 Flowers Demon Master, I didn't think we would meet again. Ning Yu took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. Ning Yu knew that he couldn't afford to anger the 100 Flowers Demon Master right now. Otherwise, Xielan might be in trouble. So, the person behind the Palace Master of 100 Flowers is you. The 100 Flowers Demon Master said indifferently, I'd like to see if your soul attraction art is stronger, or if mine is stronger. As soon as he finished speaking, the 100 Flowers Demon Master opened his mouth and directly swallowed half of Xielan's soul force. With half of her soul power devoured, Xielan immediately let out a hysterical scream. I'll use her soul power as a guide. If you can defeat me, you can save her life. Otherwise, both of you will die. The 100 Flowers Demon Master's eyes revealed a cold expression. He immediately sat down cross-legged and began to use the soul attraction art against Xielan. Swoosh! As the 100 Flowers Demon Master used the soul attraction art, Xielan's remaining soul power directly flew over to Ning Yu's side. Xielan stared at Ning Yu without saying a word. However, Ning Yu could see the determination in Xielan's eyes. Xielan's meaning was very clear. If you can't do it, then forget it. I can self-destruct and perish together with the 100 Flowers Demon Master. Trust me. Ning Yu nodded slightly and then sat down cross-legged. He formed a series of hand seals and began to use the soul attraction art. Buzz! As Ning Yu waved his hands continuously, the remaining half of Xielan's soul power slowly merged with Ning Yu's soul power. Xielan's actions clearly shocked Ning Yu, cutting off all means of retreat. Clearly, Xielan had made her decision. The moment Ning Yu failed, she would choose to self-destruct and perish together with the 100 Flowers Demon Master's soul power. Xielan's decision made Ning Yu feel immense pressure. It was fine if he failed alone, but he would definitely implicate Xielan. Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu threw those thoughts out of his mind and began to fully focus on executing the soul attraction art. If the 100 Flowers Demon Master was an ordinary cultivator, Ning Yu wouldn't be worried, nor would he feel the slightest pressure. However, the 100 Flowers Demon Master wasn't simple. From his soul power, Ning Yu could determine that the 100 Flowers Demon Master was extremely powerful. He might even be a pinnacle heavenly supreme. Ning Yu was a little puzzled. Logically speaking, The 100 Flowers Palace Lord's strength was far inferior to the 100 Flowers Demon Master's. She shouldn't be able to withstand the 100 Flowers Demon Master's attack. Of course, these thoughts only flashed through Ningyu's mind. They didn't affect Ningyu. Ningyu knew what he was going to do. He was going to execute the soul attraction art to fight against the 100 Flowers Demon Master. However, not long after, Ningyu ran into trouble. Although the soul power that the 100 Flowers Demon Master left in Xiaolan's body wasn't too strong, it wasn't weak either. With Ningyu's current pinnacle 8th grade soul force, there was no way he could defeat the 100 Flowers Demon Master in terms of soul attraction art. Grandmaster Xing Yin. Ningyu wasn't an indecisive person. Since he couldn't fight against the 100 Flowers Demon Master with his current soul power, Ningyu decided to contact Grandmaster Xing Yin and ask for some soul power. Grandmaster Xing Yin's soul power was at the liquid to core level. With his help, Ningyu's chances of winning would be much higher. Transfer all of your soul power to me. Ningyu didn't hide his thoughts and directly told Grandmaster Xing Yin his request. What? Grandmaster Xing Yin was extremely focused. When he heard Ningyu's request, he was stunned for a moment before he said in a deep voice, "Absolutely not. My soul power has reached the liquid to core level. If I transfer it to you, it might cause your soul power to explode. Hurry up. It'll be too late." Now that things had come to this, Ningyu couldn't care less. Only Grandmaster Xing Yin's soul power could defeat the 100 Flowers Demon Master. All right. Grandmaster Xing Yin gritted his teeth and sent half of his soul power into Xiaolan's body to merge with Ningyu's soul power. No, it's too little. Ningyu knew that Grandmaster Xing Yin was doing this for his own good. However, if he wanted to defeat the 100 Flowers Demon Master, he could only use Grandmaster Xing Yin's soul power. Here you go. Grandmaster Xing Yin knew that once Ningyu made up his mind, he would never change it. He took a deep breath and transferred the rest of his soul power to Ningyu. What's going on? In the secret chamber, she saw Grandmaster Xing Yin's serious expression and asked. As Yunxi's priority was to protect Grandmaster Xing Yin, she didn't know about the conversation between Grandmaster Xing Yin and Ningyu. Chapter 1510. Dong, 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 Dong. Giant Shield City, City Lord Mansion, Secret Room. Master Xing Yin Shi and Master Xing Yin paced back and forth with a serious expression on their faces. It had been an hour since Ningyu and 100 Flowers Demon Master used the soul attraction technique. In this hour, Ningyu had spat out blood 4 to 5 times. Every time Ningyu spat out blood, Master Xing Yin Shi and Master Xing Yin Shi's hearts would jump. The lives of everyone in Giant Shield City were all in Ningyu's hands. If Ningyu failed, Giant Shield City would probably be breached in a few days. If Ningyu succeeded, 100 Flowers Demon Master would be implicated and might even be seriously injured, unable to attack Giant Shield City for a while. I wonder if Ningyu will succeed. At first, Master Xing Yin didn't believe in Ningyu, but as time passed, Master Xing Yin believed in Ningyu more and more. If Ningyu couldn't do it, he would have died long ago. He wouldn't have lasted until now. Since he could last until now, it meant that there might be a miracle. I'll watch over here. Do you want to go to Giant Shield City to take charge? Grandmaster Xing Yin looked at Fairy Yin Shi and said hesitantly, "Recently, rumors have been spreading in Giant Shield City. It's said that something happened to the Palace Master of 100 Flowers Palace. If this rumor is allowed to spread, it might cause panic." While Ningyu and 100 Flowers Demon Master were fighting, Bada had come a few times. Bada was under a lot of pressure. Ningyu wanted him to calm down the people in Giant Shield City. Now, it seemed that he couldn't do it. Shio! As soon as Master Xing Yin's voice fell, Bada appeared outside the secret room again. I'll deal with this. You stay here and protect Ningyu. Fairy Yin, she knew the severity of the problem. She glanced at Ningyu one last time before her figure flashed, and she flew outside. Giant Shield City was their headquarters, and nothing could happen to it. Otherwise, even if Ningyu succeeded, they wouldn't be able to launch a counterattack. Grandmaster Xingyin, will Ningyu succeed? After Fairy Yin, she left. Bada looked at Ningyu and finally gritted his teeth. Bada really hoped that Ningyu could succeed. After all, only Ningyu knew where the bloodthirsty wolf clan's geniuses resided. Once Ningyu died in battle, the werewolf clan's geniuses would most likely meet with misfortune. I'm not too sure, either. Grandmaster Xingyin took a deep breath and said, "Let's wait and see, puff." Before Grandmaster Xingyin could finish his words, Ningyu spat out another mouthful of blood. The sixth time. This was the sixth time Ningyu had vomited blood. Whoosh! However, this time, after Ningyu vomited blood, he did something that made Grandmaster Xingyin very excited. Ningyu slowly moved his hands away from Xielan's back. Then he suddenly exerted force and slapped Xielan's back again. Puff! Following Ningyu's slap, Xielan also spat out a mouthful of blood. His already pale face became even paler. Did he succeed? Grandmaster Xingyin and Bada looked at Ningyu with hope and said hurriedly. Ningyu did not answer Grandmaster Xingyin and Bada's words. Instead, he slowly closed his eyes. Seeing Ningyu's actions, Grandmaster Xingyin and Bada were very anxious. But they had no other choice but to wait. Drip, drip. Time was ticking away. After another hour, Ningyu opened his eyes again. Huff! Slowly letting out a mouthful of turbid air, Ningyu said in a solemn voice, I made use of the 100 Flowers Demon Lord's carelessness to control his soul force. Furthermore, I used the soul attraction art to heavily injure his soul force. What should we do now? Grandmaster Xingyin knew that something big was about to happen, so he asked with a grave expression, Gather Taoist Chiemo, Fairy Yin Shi, Yu, and Bada. We'll set off for the 100 Flowers Palace and capture the 100 Flowers Demon Lord. Ningyu said straightforwardly, as if he didn't want to shock them to death. Rustle. Just as he had expected, Ningyu's words caused Grandmaster Xingyin and Bada's faces to be filled with fear. Kill his way into the 100 Flowers Palace? Capture the 100 Flowers Demon Lord? Regardless of which matter it was, it would definitely shock the heavens and earth if it was spread out. One must know that the black-robed cultivator and the bamboo-hatted man were the subordinates of the 100 Flowers Demon Lord. The two of them were middle-stage, heavenly sovereigns. Adding Tuahi, who had attacked the giant shield city, the 100 Flowers Demon Lord had 3 heavenly sovereigns under him. Who knew if the 100 Flowers Demon Lord had any powerful heavenly sovereigns? If they attacked the 100 Flowers Palace rashly and encountered a middle-stage heavenly sovereign, they might be annihilated. That was why Grandmaster Xingyin and Ba didn't agree with Ningyu's decision. I've already used the soul attraction art to heavily injure the 100 Flowers Demon Lord's soul force. As long as we give him a few hours, he'll recover. Ningyu knew that it would be difficult to convince Grandmaster Xingyin and Bada, but he still said, At that time, not only will the 100 Flowers Palace Master be controlled by the 100 Flowers Demon Lord, even the giant shield city will be gone. This, hearing the stakes in Ningyu's words, Bada and Grandmaster Xingyin went silent. This matter was indeed tricky. If they made a move, they might still have a chance of survival. If they didn't, only death awaited them. Bada, contact Fairy Yin Shi and Tao Master Ji Mo. Tell them to come see me now. Ningyu's tone was unquestionable as he said in a deep voice. The reason why Ningyu was so determined to attack the 100 Flowers Palace and capture the 100 Flowers Demon Lord wasn't because he was arrogant and conceited. Instead, It was because he understood something unusual from the 100 Flowers demon, Lord Soulforce. It was because of this that he had no choice but to capture the 100 Flowers demon lord. There were some things that needed to be investigated personally to know. Ba didn't want to mess around with Ningyu, so he shifted his gaze to Grandmaster Xingyin. All right. When he saw Grandmaster Xingyin lightly nod his head, Bada knew that this matter couldn't be changed. Since it couldn't be changed, he could only get used to it. After responding, Bada moved and went to look for Tao Master GMO and Fairy Yin Shi. Swish, swish, swish. About 4 to 5 minutes later, Tao Master GMO and Fairy Yin Shi returned to the secret chamber at the same time and looked at Ningyu in shock. Along the way, Bada had already told Tao Master GMO and Fairy Yin Shi about Ningyu's plan. It was only natural that they were shocked. We have to do this. There's no room for discussion. Ningyu's attitude was firm as he said in a deep voice, "If you guys don't agree, I'll leave right now and never step into Giant Shield City again. You've given us a difficult problem." A solemn expression appeared on Yun Shi's face. To be honest, attacking the 100 Flowers Palace now was the best choice. However, Fairy Yin Shi's only worry was that no one in Giant Shield City would hold back and the black-robed cultivators would take advantage of the situation. Chapter 1511. To meet with obstruction. Time is limited. You must give me an answer as soon as possible. Ningyu knew what Fairy Yin Shi was worried about, but at the same time he also knew that this was the best time to deal with the 100 Flowers Demon Master. If he missed this opportunity, he wouldn't have another one. All right. Fairy Yin Shi wasn't an indecisive person. She gritted her teeth and said in a low voice, "Give me 5 minutes. We'll depart for the Flower Palace in 5 minutes." Before Ningyu could reply, Fairy Yin Shi turned to Taoist Shinamo and said, "Follow me." Whoosh, whoosh. In the next moment, Fairy Yin Shi and perfected devil's figures flashed and vanished in the blink of an eye. As time passed, Ningyu quietly waited in the secret chamber. Kacha! Fairy Yin Shi was very punctual. 5 minutes later, the void split open, and Fairy Yin Shi and Taoist Master Jemo appeared in the secret chamber. "Are you ready?" Ningyu asked. Fairy Yin Shi nodded and said, "We're ready. We can leave for the 100 Flowers Palace now. But the entire Giant Shield City is tightly surrounded. Which city gate should we leave from?" It was no wonder that Fairy Yin Shi was overthinking things. The 4 armies of 100 Flowers City surrounded Giant Shield City so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Even the departure of a fly would attract their attention. It was not an easy task to pass through their iron bucket defense. "Who told you that we were going to leave through the city gates?" Ningyu's lips curled into a smile as he pointed at the ground with his right hand. His meaning was self-evident. Leave through the underground? Ningyu's actions stunned Fairy Yin Shi and perfected devil. Now that the entire Giant Shield City was surrounded, leaving through the underground was not a bad idea. However, when the exceptional killing array was activated, leaving from underground was extremely dangerous. The slightest bit of carelessness would cause one to be judged as an intruder by the Peerless Killing Formation and launch a fierce attack from there. "Don't worry, the small formation core is with me. We can leave from underground smoothly." Ningyu waved his hand and said, "The only thing we need to pay attention to is that Meng Quan and the rest might have set up a blockade outside Giant Shield City. So, after we leave Giant Shield City, we need your help." "What do you need me to do?" Yun, she said, solemnly. "It's very simple. Use your 100 Flower fan to conceal our auras and allow us to leave without anyone noticing," said Ningyu. "No problem," Yun, she said, solemnly. "All right, let's go now." Ningyu was not an indecisive person. He left as soon as he said he would, not wasting any time. With the help of the small array core, Ningyu and the others easily drilled into the ground and arrived at the edge of the Peerless Killing Array. "Who?" Just as he arrived at the edge of the peerless killing array, Ningyu hurriedly put down the small array core and let out a long sigh of relief. Ningyu's strength was almost completely exhausted after bringing the small array core here. Fortunately, he had Emperor-grade essence crystals to replenish his vitality. Otherwise, it was unknown whether Ningyu could persist until now. One had to know that only Ningyu could move a small array eye. If Ningyu could not hold on, then the plan this time would be for naught. Only after swallowing and refining quite a few pieces of Emperor-grade essence crystals did Ningyu recover to his peak condition. Yun Shi, I'll break open the small array core with all my strength in a while. What you need to do is to use the 100-flower fan to conceal all of our auras when I break open the small array core. Ningyu's expression was solemn as he warned Yun Shi about the things that she needed to take note of. Although this place was above ground, it did not eliminate the possibility that Meng Quan and the rest would send people to guard outside. Hence, in consideration of safety, letting Yun Shi use the 100-flower fan to conceal everyone's aura was the most correct choice. No problem. Yun Shi knew the severity of the matter. She nodded and said, "Open." Obtaining Yun Shi's affirmative reply, Ningyu did not hesitate anymore and immediately attacked the small array core. Crack! Accompanied by a crisp sound, a gap suddenly appeared in the small formation eye. Go! This was the moment that Ningyu had been waiting for. When the small formation eye cracked open, he was the first to rush towards the opening. Seal it. Yun Shi still remembered Ningyu's instructions. She hurriedly took out the 100-flower fan and concealed everyone's aura. Whoosh! 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 Just as Ningyu and the rest left Giant Shield City, they encountered trouble. 3 figures were galloping towards them from 3 different directions. 5th-grade Earth Sovereigns. The cultivation of these 3 figures were all 5th-grade Earth Sovereigns. Ningyu and the rest had guessed correctly. Meng Quan was a shrewd person. Not only did he get the army to guard the surface, he even sent experts to guard the underground. Just as he had expected, the 3 5th-grade Earth Sovereigns that he sent out had captured Ningyu's group. Fairy Yun Shi, Grandmaster Xingyan, the 2 of you seal off this area. Ningyu did not panic. Instead, he issued an order. Bada, Master Mo, the 2 of you must capture them alive. Understood. Yun Shi and the rest replied in unison. After the battle at the Giant Shield City's northern gate, Yun Shi and the rest had already vaguely regarded Ningyu as their leader and started to listen to Ningyu's orders. Reality had proven that Ningyu's decisions were correct. They rescued the Palace Master Soul, heavily injured the 100 Flowers Demon Master, and rescued Xiaolon. All of this was thanks to Ningyu's help. Now that Ningyu had issued an order, they naturally wouldn't disobey. Whoosh! Yun Shi activated the 100-flower fan and sealed the surroundings in an instant. Grandmaster Xingyan also used the strength of his liquid to core spiritual energy to cut off the 3 5th-grade Earth Sovereigns' soul transmission channels, preventing them from contacting Meng Quan. As for Bada and Master Mo, they were both pinnacle 9th-grade Earth Sovereigns. It didn't take much effort for 2 pinnacle 9th-grade Earth Sovereigns to deal with 3 5th-grade Earth Sovereigns. A few seconds later, the 3 5th-grade Earth Sovereigns were captured by Bada and Master Mo and escorted to Ningyu. How many cultivators are there under the Giant Shield City? Ningyu did not want to waste any time. He said, I want to hear a definite answer. Otherwise, you should know the consequences. Humph. Leader Meng has already set up an inescapable net under the Giant Shield City. You can't run away. One of the 5th-grade Earth Sovereigns snorted, If you know what's good for you, let us go as soon as possible. Otherwise, you should know the consequences. The 5th-grade Earth Sovereign was very arrogant. He returned Ningyu's words to him. Crack! Ning, you couldn't be bothered to talk to this kind of person. He raised his sword and instantly chopped off the 5th grade Earth Sovereign's head. Chi. Then Ningyu took out the myriad spirit sacred flag and let the primordial spirit battle physique devour the primordial spirit of the 5th grade Earth Sovereign. Gulp! Seeing the miserable state of the 5th grade Earth Sovereign, the other 2 5th grade Earth Sovereigns couldn't help swallowing a mouthful of saliva. The death of the 5th grade Earth Sovereign made the other 2 5th grade Earth Sovereigns realize a fact. Chapter 1512. Chapter 1512. Chapter 1512. Rua Shui River. After casually killing the crew cut cultivator, Ningyu shifted his gaze onto the remaining 2 5th grade Earth Sovereigns. Without beating around the bush, Ningyu asked directly, "How many cultivators are there under Giant Shield City?" East, west, north, south, and central. There are 5 5th grade Earth Sovereigns in each region. Amongst the 2 remaining 5th grade Earth Sovereigns, one had a scar on his face, while the other only had a right arm. Since the death of the crew-cut martial artist had a great impact on them, the 2 of them did not dare to hold back at all. In the next few minutes, they told him everything they knew. This is troublesome. Ningyu frowned slightly when he heard what the scarred cultivator and the one-armed cultivator had to say. He felt that the situation was a little tricky. The reason why Ningyu felt troubled was because he heard an extremely serious matter from Knife Scar's words. Every once in a while, 25 martial artists from the 5 regions would gather in the central region and report the situation there. There were only 3 minutes left before the next gathering. In other words, in 3 minutes, all 25 martial artists would arrive at the central area. As long as the martial artists in a certain region did not go over, Meng Quan and the rest would definitely know that something happened in that region. Now that the crew-cut martial artist had been killed, there was no way for them to gather. Immortal Chi-Mo. After pondering for a moment, Ningyu took a deep breath and said to Perfected Devil, "Transform into a martial artist with a crew-cut later and gather at the central area with Scar and the rest." Me, Taoist GMO, was slightly stunned when he heard Ningyu, and then he pointed at himself and asked with a puzzled expression, "Could it be that we're not going to the Flower Palace?" Not only was Master Chi-Mo puzzled, but even Master Xingyan and the others were puzzled. When they were in the city lord's mansion, Ningyu had already told them the plan for this trip. He would head to the 100 Flowers Palace and attack the 100 Flowers Demon Master. They hadn't even taken a step yet. Were they going to waste all their previous efforts? "I definitely have to go to the Flower Palace, and I have to go right now. I can't delay for even a moment." Ningyu's expression was solemn as he said in a deep voice, "What I mean is for you to become a flat-top martial artist and stay here, while the few of us continue on our way to the hundreds of Flowers Palace." Perfected Devil, Saint opened his mouth and hurriedly said. However, Ningyu was a shrewd person. The moment Tao Master GMO opened his mouth, he already knew what Tao Master GMO wanted to say. So Ningyu waved his hand and interrupted Taoist GMO. "Do you think that staying here is taking care of you?" To tell you the truth, the responsibility of the people who stay behind is very big. They must ensure that the small formation core is not exposed. All right. Taoist Master GMO was very clear that Ningyu was right. He was a very rational person. "I will stay behind. However, all of you must return within a day. Otherwise, I will have to head to the 100 Flowers Devil Palace to receive you." Taoist Master GMO stared at Ningyu, as if he wouldn't stay behind if Ningyu didn't agree to it. Ningyu nodded his head and did not say anything unnecessary. His figure flashed as he charged towards the distance. The reason why Ningyu did not speak any nonsense was because Taoist Master GMO was a pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign. He knew what to do. The scarred martial artist and one-armed martial artist definitely couldn't play any tricks under his eyes. Whoosh! Fairy Yin, she kept her 100 Flowers fan and disappeared along with Ningyu. Go. As soon as Ningyu and the rest left, Taoist master GMO flicked his finger. Instantly, two cold rays shot out and entered the scarred martial artist and one-armed martial artist's sea of consciousness. After controlling the scarred martial artist and one-armed martial artist, Taoist master GMO transformed into the flat-top martial artist. Aside from his appearance, even his aura and actions were very similar to the flat-top martial artist. After leaving the giant shield city, Ningyu, Fairy Yunxi, and the rest set off at full speed. They did not make any stops along the way. Due to the distance between the giant shield city and the 100 Flowers Palace not being too far, in addition to Ningyu and the rest flying at full speed, it only took them an hour to arrive at the 100 Flowers Palace's territory. However, Ningyu and the rest did not immediately charge into the 100 Flowers Palace. Instead, they stopped when they were a few hundred meters away from the 100 Flowers Palace. Grandmaster Xingyan, your soul force is the strongest among us. Try and see how many pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereigns there are in the 100 Flowers Palace. Looking at the 100 Flowers Palace, not far away, Ningyu said with a grave expression. Ningyu knew his own limits. His soul force was only at the pinnacle of the 8th grade Earth Sovereign realm. So if a pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign tried to conceal his aura, it would be hard for him to discover it. But Grandmaster Xingyan was different. His soul force had reached the level of liquid into pellets. Unless the other party knew some ancient methods to conceal their aura, they wouldn't be able to hide under Grandmaster Xingyan's powerful soul force. There's a pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign hiding in the space beside the 100 Flowers Palace. Grandmaster Xingyan closed his eyes and unleashed his powerful soul force. A brief moment later, Grandmaster Xingyan opened his eyes and said, "There are two pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereigns in the center of the 100 Flowers Palace. As for the forbidden area in the depths of the 100 Flowers Palace, there should be a heavenly sovereign." Heavenly sovereign. Upon hearing that there was a heavenly sovereign in the 100 Flowers Palace, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat. Fairy Yunxi, with her 100 Flowers fan, could fight against an early-stage Sky Supreme. Grandmaster Xingyan, with his Ascension Pagoda, could also fight against an early-stage Sky Supreme. However, their objective wasn't to confront heavenly sovereigns, but to capture the 100 Flowers Demon Lord, or to kill the 100 Flowers Demon Lord. Fairy Yunxi, where do you think the Palace Master and 100 Flowers Demon Lord are? Ningyu turned to look at Fairy Yunxi and asked. Fairy Yun, she was from the 100 Flowers Palace, so she should have a good understanding of it. The Forbidden Area. They must be in the forbidden area of the 100 Flowers Palace. With our formation, even if we manage to enter the forbidden area, we'll still be blocked. Fairy Yin, she said with a grave expression. In my opinion, we can enter the forbidden area of the Flower Palace from another place. You're talking about the Ruoshui River. Ningyu had been to the 100 Flowers Palace in his previous life and knew that the forbidden area was backed by the Ruoshui River. How do you know about the Ruoshui River? Fairy Yin, she was shocked when she heard Ningyu's words. Even in the 100 Flowers Palace, there weren't more than 5 people who knew about the Ruoshui River. How could Fairy Yin, she not be shocked that Ningyu knew about the Ruoshui River? Don't forget that if it wasn't for me, the Palace Master's soul force would have been long gone. Ningyu's expression was very calm, and he didn't reveal anything. That's true. The doubt in Fairy Yin, she's heart lessened a little. After all, if it wasn't for Ningyu, the Palace Master's soul force would have been devoured by the 100 Flowers Demon Lord. The Ruoshui River is dangerous. How confident are you in crossing it? Ningyu asked. The Ruoshui River was said to be able to corrode even heavenly sovereigns. Chapter 1513. Chapter 1513 Golden Arowana Swish. Yun, she didn't reply to Ningyu. Instead, she waved her sleeves and a green pearl appeared in her hand. This is a water avoidance pearl. It was obtained by the palace lord 10 years ago. As long as we have it, we can smoothly pass through the Ruoxue River and reach the entrance of the forbidden area. Yun, she waved the pearl in her hand and continued, There are 2 entrances to the forbidden area. One is on the surface, while the other is underwater. The entrance on the surface is guarded by heavenly sovereigns, so we have to enter the forbidden area from the bottom of the Ruoxue River. When the time comes, we'll catch the 100 Flowers demon lord off guard and catch him off guard. How long can your water avoidance pearl allow us to last at the bottom of the Ruoxue River? Ningyu asked as he pointed at the pearl in Yunxi's hand. Ningyu was well aware of how dangerous the Ruoxue River was. Even heavenly sovereigns couldn't move an inch in there, let alone them. If something happened to the water avoidance pearl, the consequences would be unimaginable. Don't worry. The water avoidance pearl comes from the Ruoxue River, so there won't be any problems. Yun, she waved her hand and continued, Let's not delay any further. Let's go to the Ruoxue River now. Whoa. Yun, she tore through space and entered the Ruoxue River in the blink of an eye. Although Ningyu was worried, he had no other choice. He could only rely on the water avoidance pearl to reach the forbidden area of the 100 Flowers Palace. The Ruoxue River wasn't on the surface, but underground. Ningyu and the rest carefully arrived at the back mountain of the 100 Flowers Palace and directly dove into the ground. After diving for 1,000 meters, Ningyu and the rest finally stopped. Whoosh! Looking at the flowing stream in front of him, Ningyu's expression became a little solemn. The Ruoxue River beneath the 100 Flowers Palace was only a small tributary. Even Ningyu from his previous life had no idea where it was or where it was headed. The only thing Ningyu knew was that the middle of the tributary was huge and deep, while the 2 ends were narrow and shallow. Let's go. Fairy Yin, she led the way as they followed the stream upstream. As Ningyu and the others moved forward, the stream became bigger and bigger. Open. In the end, the stream was almost completely blocked. At this time, Fairy Yin, she threw out the water avoidance pearl in her hand. Kacha! The water-repelling pearl suddenly enlarged, and a gap appeared in the middle. Fairy Yin, she entered the water avoidance pearl first. Xiu! 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 After that, Ningyu, Bada, and Master Xingyin also entered the water avoidance pearl. Voila! After the few of them entered the water avoidance pearl, Fairy Yin, she controlled the water avoidance pearl to close, and they suddenly dove into the bottom of the Ruoxue River. Be careful. Powerful demonic beasts could appear in the Ruoxue River at any time. Even though she had the protection of the water-repelling pearl, Fairy Yin, she did not dare to relax. Previously, when she used the water avoidance pearl to enter the bottom of the Ruoxue River, she was indeed attacked by demonic beasts. Fortunately, she did not encounter any particularly powerful demonic beasts. However, who knew if they would encounter any powerful demonic beasts next? Hence, it was better to be careful. After all, it was better to be safe than sorry. Voila! Speak of the devil. As soon as Fairy Yin, she's warning sounded, they encountered trouble. All around them, a black school of fish attacked them and almost instantly surrounded the water avoidance pearl. Damn it, it's actually a golden arowana. Fairy Yin, she's heart sank to the bottom as she stared at the black mass of fish that had suddenly appeared. Golden arowanas were only recorded in the records of the 100 Flowers Palace, and no one had ever encountered them. Who would have thought that they would encounter the so-called overlord of the Ruoxue River, the golden arowanas? The cultivation of these golden arowanas was not very high, only at the first grade Earth Supreme Realm. However, their teeth were sharp, and they were like locusts, leaving nothing behind. Everyone, inject your energy into the surface of the water avoidance pearl. We must ensure that the water avoidance pearl will not be bitten by the golden arowanas. Fairy Yin, she took a deep breath and tried to calm herself down. The most important thing now was not to fight the golden arowanas, but to ensure that the water avoidance pearl would not be destroyed. Although the golden arowanas were powerful, they were only at the first grade Earth Supreme Realm. The only problem was that there were too many of them. The Ruo Shui River was different. The Ruo Shui River was known to corrode everything. Once the water avoidance pearl was broken, they would be contaminated by the Ruo Shui River, and even without the golden arowanas doing anything, they would be corroded into skeletons by the Ruo Shui River. Crack, crack, crack. Outside the water avoidance pearl, the numerous golden arowanas open their mouths and desperately gnawed at the Yuan Qi barrier around the pearl. Fortunately, there is a Yuan Qi barrier, or the water avoidance pearl would have been destroyed. Seeing the golden arowanas gnawing at the Yuan Qi barrier, Fairy Yin, she let out a long breath and said, "Hurry up, we need to reach the forbidden grounds as soon as possible." What? However, Fairy Yin, she had clearly underestimated the fighting strength of the golden arowanas, as well as the defensive strength of the Yuan Qi barrier. These golden arowanas seemed to be very organized and disciplined. The golden arowanas at the front could not break through the Yuan Qi barrier, so they all retreated and let the golden arowanas at the back take their place. After 3 rounds, the golden arowanas that appeared were very large, many times larger than the average golden arowanas. These large golden arowanas also had relatively high cultivation, all of them at the 2nd grade Earth Supreme Realm. The golden arowanas of the 1st grade Earth Supreme Realm could not break through the Yuan Qi barrier, but the golden arowanas of the 2nd grade Earth Supreme Realm were different. They only used a few seconds to gnaw a hole in the Yuan Qi barrier. Quick, stop them! Fortunately, Fairy Yin, she reacted quickly and blocked the hole in time. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. How much longer can you guys last? Ning, you did not inject any Yuan Qi into the barrier, but asked Fairy Yin Shi. The reason why Ning Yu did not help was not because he was selfish, but because he was searching for elixirs in the reincarnation pill Dao. In the reincarnation pill Dao, there was a type of elixir called the fish dizzy pill. As the name suggested, as long as the fish dizzy pill was consumed by a fish-type demonic beast, it would quickly fall asleep. Coincidentally, Ning Yu had the ingredients to refine the fish dizzy pill on him. However, refining the fish dizzy pill required at least half an hour. Therefore, whether the water avoidance pearl could last for half an hour was crucial. If the water avoidance pearl could not last for half an hour, then even if Ning Yu started refining the fish dizzy pill, it would be useless. If no higher grade golden arowanas appear, it should not be a problem to last for half an hour. Fairy Yin, she said solemnly, "All right, then you guys must last for half an hour." Ning Yu took a deep breath, and with a flick of his wrist, he took out the emptiness pill furnace. The emptiness pill furnace was ranked 30th on the pill cauldron heaven board. It was perfect for refining the fish dizzy pill. Chi. After taking out the emptiness pill furnace, Ning Yu took out the 10,000 bone flame and let it float in the air. After doing all this, Ning Yu took out all the medicinal herbs he had on him, took out the useful medicinal herbs one by one, and threw them to the side. You want to refine elixirs. Chapter 1514. Giant dizzy fish pill. In fact, it was no wonder that Grandmaster Xing Yin felt confused. Now that the situation was so urgent, he was still thinking about alchemy. Could a pill be used to chase away the golden arowana? What nonsense! Trust me, by me half an hour. Ning Yu knew what Master Xing Yin was thinking, but it was too urgent for him to explain. Ignoring Grandmaster Xing Yin's shocked expression, Ning Yu threw the incorporeal pill furnace above his head and began to refine the fish dizzy pill. Although the fish faint pill was only a grade 8 elixir and Ningyu's soul power was at the peak of grade 8, Ningyu still dared not be careless when he started refining it. Even in his previous life, Ningyu had never refined the fish dizzy pill. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu casually grabbed a herb and threw it into the illusionary pill furnace. Chi-chi. As soon as the medicinal ingredients entered the pill furnace, it did not take long for them to be completely refined, turning into a drop of pure liquid. Continue to strengthen the yuan-qi barrier. At this moment, Yun Shi's words entered Grandmaster Xingyan's ears. The golden arowana had a strong bite force and could devour vital energy. If he didn't reinforce the yuan-qi barrier, the golden arowana would come into contact with the water-repellent pearl in about 10 minutes. Although the water avoidance pearl could resist the erosion of the weak water, its protection was very weak. Once the golden arowana came into contact with the water-repellent pearl, it would be able to bite through it easily. At that time, the consequences would be unimaginable. Damn it! Master Xing Yun knew the severity of the situation. After cursing in his heart, he activated the yuan qi in his body and worked with Fairy Yun Shi and Ba Da to strengthen the barrier with all his might. At the bottom of the Ruo Shui River, a strange scene was unfolding. The water avoidance pearl, which wasn't particularly big, was tightly wrapped in essence qi. Inside the water-repellent pearl, Ningyu was making full use of the limited space to refine the fish dizzy pill. In the blink of an eye, 10 minutes had passed. 10 minutes later, Ningyu had refined all the medicinal ingredients, turning them into pure liquid. Just as Ningyu was about to proceed to the second step of the refinement, a sudden change occurred. The golden arowanas around the water-repellent pearl suddenly retreated, and a group of even larger golden arowanas swarmed over from afar. The cultivation of this batch of golden arowanas were all third-grade Earth sovereigns. A second-grade Earth sovereign realm golden arowana was already troublesome enough. Now that another batch of third-grade Earth sovereign realm golden arowana had appeared, Fairy Yun Shi and the rest's hearts instantly sank to the bottom. There was no way to resolve this situation. It was an unsolvable situation. How much longer can you last? Due to the changes in the situation, Ningyu had to take the risk of failure and speed up the refinement of the fish dizziness pill. Ningyu had already prepared himself for both scenarios. If Fairy Yun Shi and the others could hold on for a while longer, he would continue to refine the fish dizzy pill. If they couldn't hold on any longer, he would have to think of something else. In fact, Ningyu even took out the Tower of Yuzuin and handed it to Grandmaster Xingyan. If a 4th grade Earth Sovereign or 5th grade Earth Sovereign Realm Golden Arowana appears, holding on for 10 minutes is already the limit. Grandmaster Xingyan said in a low voice after receiving the Tower of Yuzuin. Then I'll hold on for 10 minutes. A cold light shot out from Ningyu's eyes, and his face was extremely solemn. Under normal circumstances, even if he increased his speed, he wouldn't be able to refine the fish dizzy pill in the next 10 minutes. But the current situation didn't allow Ningyu to think too much. He could only give it his all. Crack, crack, crack. Outside the water-repellent pearl, the 3rd grade Earth sovereign golden arowanas continuously gnawed away at the yuan qi barrier. In just a few seconds, a layer of the yuan qi barrier set up by Grandmaster Xingyan and the rest had already been gnawed away. Holding on for 10 minutes was still a long way to go. Open up. Ningyu knew that time was of the essence, so he didn't want to waste even a second. He immediately began refining the second stage of the fish dizzy pill. Compression. The second stage was compression, which was to compress the pure liquid into the embryonic form of the pellet. Whether the fish dizzy pill could be refined depended on this stage. With a grave expression, Ningyu's mind was highly concentrated as he threw himself into the refinement of the fish dizzy pill. Drip. Time flew by quickly. In the blink of an eye, 5 minutes had passed. When the 6th minute arrived, Ningyu had finally completed the second stage and condensed the embryonic form of the fish dizzy pill. Uft, uft, uft. While Ning Yu had completed the second stage of the fish dizzy pill, Grandmaster Xingyin and Fairy Yin, she spewed a mouthful of blood at the same time. Russell, casting his gaze over, Ning Yu saw that the cultivation of the golden arowana outside the water-repellent pearl had already reached the 5th grade Earth Sovereign realm. The strength of the 5th grade Earth Sovereign golden arowana had increased by a lot. If it wasn't for the help of the 100 Flowers fan, Grandmaster Xingyin and Fairy Yin, she wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes. Hold on for another 5 minutes. With the completion of the second stage of the fish dizzy pill, Ning Yu should be able to refine it in 5 minutes if he increased his refining speed. All right, let's do it. Since Ning Yu had put it this way, Fairy Yin, she no longer grumbled. Instead, they ignited their blood essences to resist the attack of the golden arowana. Seeing that Grandmaster Xingyin and the rest were igniting their blood essences, Ning Yu's expression turned extremely grave. All their hopes were placed on him. Ning Yu felt the pressure on his shoulders increasing. Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu focused his mind and started to refine the fish dizzy pill. In the next 5 minutes, almost every minute, a different kind of golden arowana would attack the Yuan Qi barrier. 4th grade Earth Sovereign, 5th grade Earth Sovereign, 6th grade Earth Sovereign. In the end, even the 7th grade Earth Sovereign golden arowana appeared. The impact of the 7th grade Earth Sovereign golden arowana was extremely powerful. As soon as they began to move, the vital energy shield around the water-repellent pearl was almost eaten up. There was not much left. Ning Yu, we can't hold on any longer. Under the attack of the 8th grade Earth Sovereign golden arowana, Grandmaster Xingyin, she and Fairy Yin, she couldn't do anything even if they ignited their blood essences. Grandmaster Xingyin's original plan was to perish together with the golden arowana. However, he changed his mind and thought of Ning Yu. Ning Yu was an eccentric person. He might really have a way to drive the golden arowana away. Rise! Ning Yu had reached a critical moment in refining the fish dizzy pill. He naturally had no time to care about Grandmaster Xingyin's words. He slapped the cauldron and the lid flew up. Several pills shot out from the cauldron. Fairy Yun Shi, hurry up and open the water avoidance pearl. Throw this pill out. Ning Yu didn't want the water avoidance pearl to break. Therefore, after refining the fish dizzy pill, he immediately gave it to Fairy Yun Shi and Grandmaster Xingyin. Even Bod got a few of them. Ning, you didn't want the ordinary fish dizzy pill. He held a fist-sized pill in his hand. Chapter 1515. Chapter 1515. Chapter 1515 Golden Arowana. King according to the records of the reincarnation pill Tao. Only one giant fish dizziness pill would appear after 10 cauldrons. Ningyu was lucky. He got the giant fish dizziness pill in his first cauldron. The effect of one giant fish dizziness pill was even more terrifying than dozens of smaller ones. Crush the fish dizziness pill and throw it into the Ruo Shui River. Ning Yu's face was solemn as he said in a low voice, "Remember, you must crush the fish dizziness pill. It's best if you can squeeze it into powder." Fish dizziness pill? Hearing Ning Yu's words, Grandmaster Xingyin looked at the pill in his hand, slightly surprised. Grandmaster Xingyin was a peak 9th grade alchemist. He had seen thousands of pill recipes. He had never heard of the fish dizziness pill. However, Grandmaster Xingyin did not dare to be careless. He exerted force with both hands and crushed all the fish dizziness pills in his hand. Fairy Yun Shi and Bada were not idle. They did the same thing as Grandmaster Xingyin, crushing the fish dizziness pills in their hands. Open. After doing all this, Fairy Yin, she suddenly opened the water avoidance pearl. As soon as the water avoidance pearl was opened, many golden arowanas rushed over, looking like they wanted to enter the pearl. "Throw the fish dizziness pill powder out," Ningyu shouted. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Grandmaster Xingyin, Fairy Yun Shi, and Bada threw the fish dizziness pill powder out at the same time. Swoosh! The moment the fish dizziness pill powder was thrown out, it took effect. The golden arowanas that were chewing on the Yuan Qi barrier dropped their heads and started to fight for the powder. It was as if the fish dizziness pill powder was a delicacy that they could not resist. The sudden change caused Fairy Yun Shi to be a little stunned. It was too magical. It was completely beyond her imagination. "What are you waiting for? Let's go." Seeing that Fairy Yun Shi was in a daze, Ningyu patted her shoulder and said in a low voice, "Before the stronger golden arowanas come, let's get to the entrance of the 100 Flowers Palace as soon as possible." Ningyu knew very well that every school of goldfish must have an extremely powerful goldfish. This school of golden dragonfish was massive, and their leader was at least a 9th grade Earth Sovereign, or even a heavenly sovereign. Just this school of golden arowanas was enough to overwhelm Ningyu and the others. Once the leader arrived, the consequences would be dire. "All right, let's go." Fairy Yin, she instantly reacted. She activated the water avoidance pearl and started rushing towards the forbidden area of the 100 Flower Palace. Shio! The school of golden arowanas seemed to have completely given up on the water-repellent beads. They stayed where they were and started to fight over the powder of the fish dizziness pill. A few minutes later, Ningyu and the others successfully escaped from the golden arowanas' encirclement. "Ningyu, what kind of pill is the fish faint pill?" Not long after they left the encirclement, Master Xing Yun couldn't wait to ask the question in his heart. Not only was Master Xing Yun confused, even Fairy Yun Shi and Bada were confused. Just a few fish fainting pills were enough to wipe out the school of golden arowanas. If it was in the past, they wouldn't believe it, even if they were beaten to death. The so-called fish faint pill is an elixir that specifically targets fishes. As long as the fishes swallow it, they will quickly fall asleep. Ningyu used his perception to scan the surroundings for a while. After confirming that it was safe, he said, "Although the goldfish are powerful, they are still fishes. Since they are fishes, the fish faint pill can suppress them." Gulp! Hearing Ningyu's words, Bada couldn't help swallowing a mouthful of saliva and said, "If that's the case, then all the goldfish behind us have fallen asleep? Why are we in such a rush? Why didn't we catch a few goldfish? I heard that goldfish meat is delicious." Bada was a bloodthirsty wolf that liked to eat demonic beasts. Not only were goldfish delicious, but they also contained a terrifying amount of energy that was beneficial to cultivation. Bada was heartbroken after missing out on so many goldfish. "I heard that you want to eat goldfish meat." Not long after Bada's voice faded, a powerful voice resounded beside Ningyu and the rest's ears. Crap! The voice that came to his ears made Ningyu's heart sink to the bottom. Goldfish King. From the voice, Ningyu could determine that the Goldfish King's cultivation was at least at the 9th grade Earth Sovereign realm. As for whether it was an initial phase 9th grade Earth Sovereign or a pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign, Ningyu had no idea. Giant fish faint pill. Ningyu's right hand reached into his pocket and touched the giant fish faint pill. The worry in his heart was slightly alleviated. The small fish faint pill was no longer attractive to the Goldfish King. Fortunately, I managed to refine the giant fish faint pill. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get out of this situation. Ningyu tried his best to calm himself down, but his heart was getting excited. If he could capture the Goldfish King and eat its meat, Ningyu might even be able to break through the limits of the human sovereign realm and reach the Earth Sovereign realm. Ever since he reached the 9th grade Earth Sovereign realm, Ningyu's cultivation had been stagnant for a long time. Now that there was a chance to reach the Earth Sovereign realm, Ning Yu would definitely not let it go. But to capture the Goldfish King, he had to think about it carefully. He couldn't rush it. Whoosh! Soon, the Goldfish King appeared in front of the water avoidance pearl, swaying its huge tail. The Goldfish King was huge and golden in color. It had 2 long whiskers and a pair of fan-like fins that swayed left and right. The Goldfish King's mouth was a few times bigger than the water avoidance pearl. If it wanted to, it could even swallow the water avoidance pearl. You guys are quite bold to use the fish faint pill to tempt my people. The golden arowana fish king stared at Ningyu and the others inside the water repellent pearl, then said, I'll give you a chance to live now. Open the water repellent pearl. As long as you can last 10 minutes in the weak water, I'll let you go. Rumble. The Goldfish King's words made the hearts of Master Xingyan and the others sink to the bottom. Last 10 minutes in the weak water? Not to mention them. Even Sky Sovereigns might not be able to last that long. The Golden Arowana Fish King was clearly trying to kill them. Goldfish King, there's no enmity between us. Why did you attack us? Ning Yu's heart skipped a beat. He looked at the Goldfish King and said, Don't you want to know why we're crossing the weak water river? Oh, tell me about it. The Goldfish King raised an eyebrow. Not far away is the entrance to the forbidden area of the 100 Flowers Palace. The 100 Flowers Palace is an ancient sect, and rumor has it that there are skeletons of pinnacle heavenly sovereigns in there. We're here to search for those skeletons. Ning Yu pointed to the front and started bragging. There used to be 2 entrances to the forbidden area of the 100 Flowers Palace, but due to years of war, the entrance on the surface has been sealed. That's why we can only enter the forbidden area from the bottom of the weak water river. I was the only one who entered the forbidden area. Even if I found the skeletons of peak sky sovereigns, I couldn't take them away. Chapter 1516. Bluff. Ning Yu had an outstanding talent in lying. He didn't even frown when he lied. Hearing Ning Yu's words, the Goldfish King frowned, seemingly moved by Ning Yu's plan. Goldfish King, this is the bottom of the Ruoshui River. You're the strongest, while the rest of us can only hide in the water avoidance pearl. To convince the Goldfish King, Ning Yu decided to give it a hard time. Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu seemed to have made up his mind. If you still don't believe me, we can open the water avoidance pearl and let you in. No, absolutely not. No matter what, we can't open the water avoidance pearl. That's right. The water avoidance pearl is the key to our survival in the Ruoshui River. If the Goldfish King destroys the pearl from the inside, we'll all die. Just when Ning Yu's voice resounded, Grandmaster Xingyan and Fairy Yin, she immediately spoke up. What a joke! Letting the Goldfish King enter the water avoidance pearl was no different from courting death. The Goldfish King was a pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign. If it chose to break the pearl, the consequences would be unimaginable. I've already made up my mind. You don't have to say anything. Ning Yu waved his hand. We have no enmity with the Goldfish King. As long as we talk it out, we can definitely bury the hatchet. Finishing his words, Ning Yu waved his hands and slowly opened the water avoidance pearl. Damn it! Grandmaster Xingyan cursed inwardly when he saw Ning Yu's actions and immediately turned his head away. As for Fairy Yin, Shi, and Bada, they stared at the Goldfish King as if they were facing a great enemy, fearing that it would suddenly go berserk. Very well. The Golden Arowana King was bold and skillful. It waved its tail and dove into the water-repellent pearl. You're pretty smart to know to reconcile with me. After entering the water avoidance pearl, the Goldfish King transformed into a middle-aged man in his 30s or 40s. The Golden Arowana Fish King had a head full of golden hair and looked rather strange. Tell me about the 100 Flower Palace. I want to know what treasures there are in the forbidden grounds of the 100-Flower Palace, aside from the skeletons of heavenly sovereigns. The Goldfish King crossed its arms in front of its chest and stared at Ningyu with interest. Although the Golden Arowana King lived in the Roshue River. How vast was the Roshue River? The Golden Arowana Fish King was just passing by with its school of golden arowanas. It knew nothing about the 100-Flower Palace. There are many good treasures. Ningyu looked around and said in a low voice, "The fish dizzy pill we just used was obtained from there." What? The Golden Arowana Fish King was shocked. Although the fish dizzy pill was not a heaven-defying pill, it had a fatal restraining effect on fish-type demonic beasts. As long as the quality of the fish dizzy pellet was high enough, even heavenly sovereigns wouldn't be able to escape. Although the Golden Arowana Fish King looked surprised, it was actually overjoyed. If it could obtain the fish dizzy pill, and a high-quality one at that, then when it encountered other fish kings, it could suddenly use the fish dizzy pill to catch its opponents off guard. If the Golden Arowana Fish Clan wanted to quickly increase their cultivation, devouring each other was the fastest way. I was tricked. Ningyu was very satisfied with the Golden Arowana Fish King's reaction. This was the effect he wanted. How many fish dizzy pills are there in the Forbidden Grounds? Are there any high-quality ones? The Golden Arowana Fish King took a deep breath and said urgently, "As long as you can lead me to the fish dizzy pill, I can promise to let you live." "Thank you, Fish King." Ningyu hurriedly expressed his gratitude. "Don't be in such a hurry to thank me." The Golden Arowana Fish King said, "Lead the way. I will only let you go if I see the fish dizzy pill. Otherwise, you will all die." "I guarantee that I will see the fish dizzy pill." Ningyu patted his chest and said, "Because my strength is limited, I can only bring back low-quality fish dizzy pills. There are high-quality fish dizzy pills in the forbidden grounds of the 100-Flowers Palace." The Golden Arowana Fish King seemed to be a little impatient and urged, "Let's go! Let's go." Ningyu was swift and decisive. He took control of the water avoidance pearl from Fairy Yun Shi and carefully rushed towards the forbidden grounds of the 100-Flowers Palace. "It's not that troublesome. Just tell me the direction, and I'll activate the water avoidance pearl." The Golden Arowana Fish King was a little impatient when it saw Ningyu's shoddy technique. It shook its tail a few times, and a few huge golden arowanas swam over from afar and appeared outside the water avoidance pearl. These golden arowanas were all at the 8th grade Earth Supreme Realm. They carried the water avoidance pearl and quickly traversed the Ruoxue River. Ningyu guided them from the front, while the Golden Arowana Fish King passed Ningyu's information to the golden arowanas outside the water avoidance pearl. With the help of the golden arowanas, Ningyu and the rest quickly arrived at the entrance of the forbidden grounds of the 100-Flowers Palace. The stone door in front is the entrance to the forbidden grounds. At this moment, Fairy Yun Shi, who had been silent all this while, finally spoke. "I will use a secret technique to open the stone door. When the time comes, everyone will rush in together." "No problem." Ningyu nodded in response. "Open." Fairy Yin, she did not waste any time. She waved her sleeves, and a cold light shot out, bypassing the water avoidance pearl and blasting towards the stone door. Crack! The stone door did not last long under the attack of the cold light before it cracked open. Swish! After the stone door cracked open, a huge pillar of light shot out from behind it. The powerful pressure pushed the Ruoxue River away, leaving a wide path in the middle. With a thought, Fairy Yin, she put away the water-repelling pearl. Rustle! Since the stone door had been opened, Fairy Yin, she no longer had any worries. She moved her feet and walked towards the stone door. Behind Fairy Yin, she, Grandmaster Xingyin, and Bada followed. Ningyu and the Golden Arowana King were at the back and were in a disadvantageous position. Russell, after sending Ningyu and the rest here, the 8th grade Earth Sovereign Golden Arowanas jumped back into the Ruoshui River and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Golden Arowana King, I've been looking forward to the Golden Arowana clan for a long time. I wonder if I'll have the chance to visit your clan? As they moved forward, Ningyu started to get closer to the Golden Arowana King. He even moved closer to the Golden Arowana King with his steps. Cut the crap. You must bring me to the fish dizzy pellet. Otherwise, you should know the consequences. Clearly, the Golden Arowana King wasn't going to fall for it. He quickly arrived at Fairy Yunshi's side and began to converse with her. Do fishes like humans too? The Golden Arowana King's actions caused Ningyu to roll his eyes and the corner of his lips twitched. Although the Golden Arowana King was a pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign, it was still a fish-type demonic beast. Forget it. Let's think about how to make the Golden Arowana King and the 100 Flowers Demon Lord fight. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu threw away the distracting thoughts in his mind. The most important thing now was to make the Golden Arowana King and the 100 Flowers Demon Lord fight. Although the Golden Arowana King was only a pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign, it definitely had the Ruoshui River. Chapter 1517. 5 Ultimate Formation Creek. To prevent Ruoshui from entering the forbidden area, the stone door closed as soon as Ningyu and the rest entered. Buzz. The instant Ningyu entered the forbidden area, he felt like he was in a trance. He was in a daze. Luckily, Ningyu soon recovered. They're in a daze. Ningyu wanted to ask Yunshi why, but he noticed that Yunshi and Master Xingyan and the rest were also in a daze. In fact, Fairy Yun, Shi, Grandmaster Xingyan, and the others had yet to recover from their daze. In other words, they were in a daze like the Walking Dead. There should be some heaven-defying treasures in the forbidden area of the 100 Flowers Palace. Ningyu took a deep breath and his expression turned solemn. This was only the entrance to the forbidden area, but it could cause them to be momentarily dazed. One could imagine how terrifying the forbidden area was. Normally, there would be powerful treasures or heaven-defying elixirs in a heavily guarded forbidden area. Whoosh! Just as Ningyu was deep in thought, the second to wake up was the Arowana King. The speed at which the Arowana King woke up surprised Ningyu. Logically speaking, Master Xingyan's soul power was at the level of Liquid to Dan, so he should be the second one to wake up. Who would have thought that the second one to wake up would be the Golden Arowana King? Luckily, I didn't do anything. Ningyu rejoiced. At that moment, he even wanted to use the giant fish dizzy pill to control the Arowana King. Now it seemed that he was indeed lucky. If he made a move on the Arowana King, he would most likely be discovered by it. Whoosh! 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 A second after the Arowana King woke up, Master Xingyan, Yunshi, and Bada woke up at the same time. What are you waiting for? Let's go. The Arowana King looked back at Ningyu and said, Bring me to the fish dizzy pill. Coming. Ningyu's heart skipped a beat, but he did not show it on his face. Why did the Golden Arowana Fish King and the others react so strangely? It was as if they didn't know that they were absent-minded just now. If the Golden Arowana Fish King and the others didn't know that he was distracted, then there would be a problem. Why didn't the Golden Arowana Fish King and the others know that he was distracted, but Ningyu didn't? Thinking of this, Ningyu could not help but take a deep breath and secretly became cautious. The danger level of the 100 Flowers Palace's forbidden area had already exceeded his expectations. It was already so dangerous the moment they entered. If they were to continue forward, who knew what they would encounter? Roar! Just as this thought rose in Ningyu's mind, a loud roar came from afar. Hearing the roar, not only Ningyu, but even the Golden Arowana Fish King, Fairy Yunshi, and the others were astounded. Shio! As the roar faded, A huge creature approached from afar and appeared in front of Ningyu and the others in the blink of an eye. A Sky Supreme Realm demonic beast. This demonic beast had a single horn on its head and a pair of wings on its back. Its appearance was extremely frightening. Unicorn. This demonic beast was called a unicorn, and it was a demonic beast that had survived from the ancient times. On the back of the unicorn sat a middle-aged man. Pa, pa, pa. The man clapped his hands, and his gaze stopped on Fairy Yunxi. You escaped last time. I didn't think that you would dare to come again. 100 Flowers, Demon Lord. Staring at the middle-aged man on the back of the unicorn, Fairy Yunxi's expression was extremely dark. She said coldly, "The forbidden area at the bottom of the Ruoshui River is very hidden." How did you know? How did I know? The 100 Flowers Demon Lord's lips curled up as he said, sinisterly, "Where there are people, there will be society. Where there is society, there will be betrayal. I've already taken control of the 100 Flowers Palace, so I naturally know the second entrance." Damn it! Hearing the 100 Flowers Demon Lord's words, Fairy Yunxi gritted her teeth in anger. Originally, their plan was perfect to the point of no failure. Who would have thought that there would be a traitor in the 100 Flowers Palace, causing the 100 Flowers Demon Lord to know the entrance? With the 100 Flowers Demon Lord's personality, he had already made preparations. I'll give you a chance. Submit to me. The 100 Flowers Demon Lord seemed to be kind and did not attack immediately. Instead, he stared at Fairy Yunxi and the others with interest and said, "Otherwise, I'll have to apologize to you." Ningyu did not speak. Fairy Yunxi did not speak. Master Xing Yun did not speak. Master Xing Yun did not speak. Ba did not speak. Neither did the Golden Arowana Fish King. For a moment, the scene became extremely quiet, so quiet that it was a little scary. Since the 100 Flowers Demon Lord is already prepared, why isn't she attacking us? Ningyu frowned slightly. He used his perception and carefully moved towards the 100 Flowers Demon Lord. Time passed by minute. Ningyu was very careful. At such a close distance, it took his perception a whole minute to reach the 100 Flowers Demon Lord. No. Suddenly Ningyu shouted. Everyone attacked together. The unicorn under the 100 Flowers Demon Lord is fake. Whoosh! As Ningyu shouted, he quickly charged towards the 100 Flowers Demon Lord. According to the information sent back by his perception, Ningyu determined that the unicorn wasn't a real unicorn. It was a unicorn that was extremely similar to a unicorn. As for why the unicorn could emit the aura of a heavenly supreme, it was the 100 Flowers Demon Lord's doing. My unicorn! Master Xingyun and the rest did not notice it at first. However, they instantly reacted after Ningyu's reminder. Whoosh! 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 After cursing inwardly, Master Xingyun, Fairy Yunxi, and Bada charged out and flew towards the 100 Flowers Demon Lord. Damn it! 5 Terminal Array, rise! Seeing Fairy Yunxi and the others attack, the 100 Flowers Demon Master slapped the unicorn she was riding on and shouted, "Whoosh! Whoosh! Whoosh! Whoosh!" along with the 100 Flowers Demon Lord's voice. For light pillars suddenly shot out from the surroundings. The 4 beams of light intertwined and firmly surrounded the entire area. Enjoy the power of the 5 Terminal Array. I'll prepare a big gift for you guys. After leaving those words, the 100 Flowers Demon Lord's figure flashed and disappeared. In the 100 Flowers Demon Lord's heart, there was a sentence that he did not say. I hope the broken 5 Terminal Array can trap them for half an hour. Due to the lack of time, the 5 Terminal Array couldn't be completed. The difference between the 4 Terminal Array and the 5 Terminal Array couldn't be measured. Originally, the Hundred Flowers demon Lord wanted to buy time and leave after the 5-terminal array was completed. But now, it seemed that he had to leave early. Not long ago, he had competed with Ningyu in the soul attraction technique, which caused his soul to be severely injured. He needed time to recover. This time, the Hundred Flowers demon Lord dragged his heavily injured body to set up the 5-terminal array. If he didn't return to possess the Hundred Flowers Palace Master as soon as possible, the consequences would be unimaginable. 20 minutes to recover to peak condition. 10 minutes to possess the Hundred Flowers Palace Master. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.